Hell yeah. Well, yeah, we're fucking recording, dude.
Yeah.
So
Well,
welcome.
Well,
dude.
this is my first podcast.
First ever.
First ever podcast. I've tried to get on some of my buddies, but they never followed through. So I was like, you followed me on the Instagram, and it was like I had no context. I was like, who the hell is this? And went through. I saw all the Bear Creek guys, and I was like, okay, gotta be somebody on Bear Creek. And then DM'd you and went from there, dude. I was like, totally looking forward to getting on it because I like to talk.
Well,
I'm a talker.
Dude, and I'm so shocked, even just as yourself, seeing you working at the golf course this last year. It was fucking cool to see such a fucking pro baller come out and fucking working with the regular schmoes like us.
No,
you know?
not regular at all, man. You got to meet some cool people over there at Bear Creek. And like I was still getting into golf a little bit, and like in the off season we don't get paid, so you always got to, instead of digging into your signing bonus or whatever you have from that you made from season, right? Like you just got to keep money coming in. So I love golf. I'm into golf more probably than I am baseball. I'm just kidding. It's not true, but you get what I'm trying to say. And like being around those guys, especially like I got to meet Kevin Doherty, Brent Grant. Didn't get to meet Ricky, but Phil came through a bunch of times, and it was just like you get to meet all walks of life from in the sports world and get to see what they live through and what they have to go through to get to where they are. And you know, those are three amazing. Kevin Doherty and Brent are
all those pros.
They're technically minor leaguers, right? But you look at it and it's like they've had to work so hard, and they're so good, and they're still not on the tour yet, which is unbelievable. And it just shows you like I believe that golf and baseball are similar.
Oh yeah,
mentally. The minor league grind, or the Korn Ferry Tour, all the Canadian tours, Q School, passing Q School, all that crazy stuff. Like, it's just such a workload, and it takes so much time and such grit mentally to get through. Because
the grind, just to keep pushing yourself. Because I mean, just as far as like you said, how similar they are as sports, how much you have to dedicate your time and effort to where you end up like, fuck, like, why am I – there's so many – like, fuck baseball as far as any other sport schedule. You have so many games that you're fucking year-round just going through to where it just can blow you out to where you don't even want to keep on playing, to where obviously when it comes to a point of your physical ability to keep playing, that's one thing. But keeping that drive going to want to keep getting better and being having that starting position to where obviously it's not a level of tour like how the tour has it's two totally different sports, but definitely you still have to fight for your spot to where you don't get traded or you're not losing your contract, to where I mean, how does that work as far as
I mean, it's crazy, right? Like when you first get drafted, everybody's excited, right? Everybody's talented, everybody is totally locked in for baseball, right? And you hear about the grind, you see it on TV, right? But you don't get to live it until you're living it, right? And I've found that over time, if you're not 110% bought into your sport and you have to embrace the suck, like is what I've heard before, military, like embrace the suck, right? There's suck in baseball, especially in the minor leagues. You're not getting paid shit. You're on bus trips. Literally everybody's packed into a bus. If you're lucky, you get a sleeper bus where you can sleep on it. Like there's a couple beds. But I mean, my favorite story to tell is the shitty time where you realize, you look at the schedule, what day your day is to pitch, right? And then you'll see, oh, we play in Chattanooga tonight on Friday night. Our series ends Sunday. We play on Monday night, but we got to drive all the way to Jacksonville. So if our game gets done 10 o'clock at night, you got an hour to shower, change, pack, get all your stuff on the bus, get on the bus at now, what is that, 11 o'clock? And now you get to sleep on a bus and still have to get up the next day. You literally sleep on a bus. We got into Jacksonville at like 8:30 in the morning after just playing a night game, and I had to pitch that game. Like the game after sleeping on a bus, man, it's like that will wear you out.
That's not actual sleep. That's the thing. It's not like you're restful. You're not recovering. You know, you're just literally closing your eyes for the fucking 4 hours. How long of a bus ride?
It was 12 hours.
Jesus Christ. And I mean, why is that not a flight?
They can't afford it, man.
Really?
They can't afford to pay for that life for all the minor leaguers. That's why it's such a big reward when you get to the big leagues. Is like you got a 1 hour flight to go play a series. You hop on the jet again. What city are you going to next? Like, it's just such a different life up there. But like going back to the levels and the trade and stuff like that, I got drafted in 2017 by the Marlins, Miami Marlins. They took me in the 5th round, which says a lot about what they think about you as a baseball player. And it's a business. Baseball is a business. Next thing you know, it's 2019. I'm getting a phone call in my hotel room saying, "Hey, pack your stuff up. Like, it was a pleasure working with you. We traded you to the Cincinnati Reds." And I'm just sitting here like, I mean, this is Google information, but y'all just paid me $330,000 to go play for you, and I get a year and a half in, and now I'm gone. You know what I mean? And if you look at it as like a slap in the face, you're looking at it all wrong, because baseball is a business, right? So if you get traded, that means the next team is just in love with you as the team before. And we say it all the time. You're not playing for your team in minor league baseball. You're playing in pro and big league ball. You're playing for the 29 other teams out there too, because at any moment you get traded. I mean, Trevor Bauer, with the crazy analytic guy all over social media during all this stuff, like all-star with the Indians, shoved with the Indians, took him to a World Series, like crazy stuff. He gets traded at the drop of a hat, has to move his life and go to Cincinnati. It's just it's so crazy, because you'd think the team that is paying you to play baseball, that's the team that you're going to make it with. And it's
let alone if you bring them to a World Series, or have a good season, to where that's why it feels that it should be more performance related, to where it is, like you said, obviously a business, to where they have to look on their end. And it's very, I mean, when you look at the contracts and kind of see exactly the salary caps and kind of exactly, well, because baseball, there's no salary cap, right? As far as
there's a salary cap, but it's a pretty big salary cap, you know what I mean? So,
and it's all depending on what the teams can afford, to where if you're if you're on the Yankees, you're definitely they can afford to have a little bit more.
They buy their wins, and they buy their World Series and all that stuff. Whereas you look at a team, I think it was funny. I think it was last year that the A's and the Yankees are playing a wild card or something like that, and it's a however $1 million team in the Yankees that pay all their players. I think the stat was
the budget difference between the two teams.
The Yankees 1 through 4 in their order was making more money. They were getting paid more money than the entire A's salary.
Jesus Christ!
So that's why I love baseball, man, because it's anything can happen on any given game, and it doesn't matter who you got on that team. But that salary cap's like Dodgers too, man. Here you go. Here's your money. You come in, help us out. All right, on to the next. Like, who do we got to go buy? And it's cool, man. That's why they talk about like the homegrown prospects, right? So obviously I'm not a homegrown prospect anymore because I got traded by the Marlins, but we got guys that got drafted by the Reds and made their big league debuts, and that's homegrown talent right there. That's why the minor leagues is the minor leagues, is you're trying to shape athletes and have a good farm system. So it's crazy how all that stuff works. And like I said, it's all business related. It's tough to develop friendships with people or coaches or anything like that, because one, they're competing for your job as well. Two, like I said, you could wake up, be on a new team the next freaking day.
You find out on Google News, like you said,
dude.
To where, how is that of a feeling, dude? Fucking, to where you don't even get a call from. You said, who was the first person that called you, like as far as like your manager or anybody?
Gary Dembo was the president of player development. So he's the head honcho. He's the guy that if you're pitching really well and it's time for you to move up, he's the guy that says yes or no. Or if you're sucking, he's the guy that's going to tell your head coach, send his ass back down, right? So he came from the Yankees. When Jeter bought the Marlins, he came over with Jeter. And he's quite a hard ass, but I respected him, and the conversation was good. It was nice. And next thing you know, literally, I called my agent. He already knew, like he wanted to wait for the Marlins to tell me. And then once we talked to those two guys, the Reds contacted me, and I was in Florida at the time, and I had my truck, so I drove home back here.
Jesus.
Yeah, man.
How many days? 3, 4?
So the first time I went out there, I did it. I took my time, did it in 4, and then when I drove home, I did it as fast as I could, and it got 3 days.
Oh yeah, so, I did that same run from here to there 3 days. That was fucking
freaking. I got up 4 a.m, left Florida, made it to Houston, Texas at like 5, 6 in the afternoon. woke up same time, made it to Phoenix, and then Phoenix 5-hour drive home. Because the first time I did, I was very nervous about running out of gas on that. Like I didn't know how many gas stations really would be out there, and so I'd always take my time. And I got a bunch of hotels, and this time I was like, "Fuck it, dude! I'm getting in behind the car, throwing a fat dip in,
just fucking
turning on the Chris D'Elia podcast, bro, and just mob right through town." So, dude, baseball's crazy. It's taken me to crazy places I'd never think I'd do and see and stuff like that. So.
Has traveling for college and now a professional, has that helped you for, like you said, with this drive across country, just as far as not worrying, but
no, for sure, bro. Like it's like when you're traveling with baseball, there's always like the suck, right? Like you're gonna be on a bus doing terrible travel, sit next to, if you get shit luck, you're sitting next to an 18-year-old Latin that doesn't speak any English, doesn't care about personal space, none of that. But that's what we're trying to help him out with that. But I mean, you got to find ways to be comfortable and suck it up and just get through it. And when I saw my app on my phone saying you got 39 hours till you're home, fuck it, put a dip in and chill and get your ass home. So I love it all. And I think this kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. I've seen it happen where if you're not obsessed with baseball, if you're not obsessed with the drives and the shitty schedule and the pay, it'll weed you out. It'll weed you out so fast. And I think I'm lucky enough that I'm crazy enough that I love that. I love, we got a 12-hour trip. Screw it. What else do I want to do? You know what I mean? This is what I want to do. And the guys that kind of complain about it, like, don't play very well because it's affecting them and their head is not always where it needs to be. And usually they're out of baseball before I am, just alone on the embracing the shit.
Their mental capabilities of being able to keep pursuing down that hard road of just the travel. Even if you have a shit season, you can be playing your best baseball to where, obviously, might not be the fault of your own that you get traded, but it's still something that might wear on you on is this something that based on how I'm playing or how the fuck, and then next thing you know, people end up like, fuck it, my contract's up. I'm not gonna fucking keep doing this. Might as well just go do something new and invest the money that like you said, the signing bonus, people see that money and just get blind and lose that passion to where a lot of times, even just in jobs, you get a raise and you're like, fuck, but now I don't have to work hard. I got the fucking contract. And I see that a lot in as far as professional athletes, more so in football, when they college football is so much higher pace, faster flying, guys just jumping all over the place, to where they're trying to make an impression, to where they are trying to get that contract.
They have to.
And especially with being that they have smaller, shorter seasons, to where it's more compacted on every decision they make has a huge impact on whether they get signed again, whether the team even wants to have them play, to where, do you think that might be something that that's always been a talk about, shortening a baseball season? Because how many games in the minor league do
140.
they have? 140?
140 in 5 months.
Is 130 for a pro or for
162?
Oh, I thought it was 130. Fuck, Jesus.
No, we play 22 games less than the big leagues do, and they got the full postseason. So, guys that play till the World Series are playing baseball from late February to end of September into October. It's a long ass season. So you think about it too. I start in the off season. I don't do anything baseball related, weight related. I don't do any of that until November 15th, I think, is the earliest I'll start. So these guys that play in the World Series have pretty much the same start date. So they don't have any off season. If you think about it, if you're lucky enough to play in the postseason, they come home, they get to go on a vacation or two, and it's right back to the grind. So like you were saying earlier, it's an all year round freaking thing, and it's a grind, dude. And you gotta be willing to sacrifice and love what you do, or like I said, it'll eat you up.
You mentioned those guys at the very beginning, Doherty, Chin, Grant, all those guys. They actually just this week, today, they just finished, and they
saw that.
They all made the cut. Doherty, I think, finished 7.
Doherty in the top 10.
Not top 10, but I think he finished 10 or 7 under, and then Grant and Chin both finished 17 under in the top 10. Dude, that's fucking.
That's I was actually talking to Brent before I got here, man, because I met him when I was working, and I saw he's a grinder, and he's freaking so talented. So I kind of took to that a little bit, like see some similarities, and I've been keeping in with what he's doing, and I shot him a little text today, and you just see the excitement, and while he's like where you can actually see your work that you put in coming to fruition a little bit, and he had a great weekend, right? But that wasn't a number 1 finish, right? So that right there alone should not be satisfying to him, right? Like he shouldn't be I made top 10, right? Now time to chill and I made it, right? That's just another gear for him to get into to go finish in the top 5 now next time. You know what I mean? It's there's always something going that's pushing you to go.
And I've been definitely thinking about this for a while on how pro golfers definitely have a different mentality of they don't necessarily lose in a way, in a sense. They're always, obviously they didn't win the tournament,
right?
But it's not like a win or a loss for the record.
Yeah,
obviously it's going to count towards their stats in the end. Obviously you want to have more, Tiger has the most wins tied right now,
Jesus.
To where that comes a part of it, but to where it doesn't say bear on you as much as you lost fucking 4 games in a row. Obviously, it does have a same effect missing cuts to where Brent. I keep up on all those guys' stats to where Brent, John, and Kevin. I think this is their 3rd tournament back. The first 2 tournaments back, all 3 of them missed the cut to where. That is such could be a hard and devastating moment to where you're like, fuck, like I've had all this time to be practicing, grinding on my game to really perfect it with this whole quarantine, and to where, I mean, obviously they're practicing year round, not just that they should be better now in this quarantine, but to be able to keep pursuing and persevering after a missed cut. And I mean, if people were to be chirping at them, or I mean, obviously it's great that they don't have fans there, in a sense that it gives them the freedom of not having it. I couldn't imagine there being like a lot of hecklers or anything like how Happy Gilmore or fucking people really yelling shit like that. But it could be a little bit tedious when you're trying to tee off and somebody's 3 holes over, you hear a crowd cheering or something going on. I mean, let alone on the professional level, to where you hear Tiger Woods and literally more than half of a tournament following one guy. Right. I mean, to where that could weigh on you, to where fuck, like they don't whether they don't care about me as an athlete, or the fact that, like I said, you hear a noise going off in the background that.
Right.
Obviously, you're trying to block out all these things. But
I mean, think about it too, right? Like you're saying, you hear a roar for somebody that is playing well, right? Maybe the 10 tee boxes here and 18 green is right next to, and this dude just drained his putt to go 10 under for the day and is like pushing on a lead and stuff like that. And meanwhile, you're over here at the turn, either even or a little over par, and you're struggling, and you hear that, and you're like, man, they haven't cheered for me in 9 holes. Like, I'm sure that could get to you. So like it's probably, they got a lot of leeway right now, right? I'm sure without fans, where they can actually really settle in and find that switch on their own, right? To where you have a couple bad holes or whatever, like you slowly start chipping away without anything else getting onto you, and I'm sure it's a great experience for them to have no fans, right? Because they've done fans their whole life, right? So now with this, it's probably an awesome learning experience, because now it's on them to pick it up or slow it down, whatever it is. I'm sure it's a cool aspect going on in life right now. So it's positive for those guys. But all in all, I hope we get fans back in sporting events soon.
Yeah, because I mean, the fact that you guys are going to be coming back this next week, right?
Yep.
You're going to call back.
Those guys are headed out to Cincinnati no later than, let's see, what's today? Wednesday. So there's guys already out there. There's guys getting ready to go. And it's just a training camp in Cincinnati instead of Arizona or Florida, but because those 2 states opened up way too soon, and now it's spiking over there, all the COVID shit. So now they're rolling out to Cincinnati, and they put together a taxi squad on top of the 25-man roster, so the big leaguers. And the taxi squad is basically, if a guy needs a spell, he's tired, he gets hurt or something like that, they have a taxi squad to pull from. I'm not on that list because, well, I can't say because, but most of that list are older guys that have been on the 40-man roster.
More veteran guys.
Exactly. There's a couple guys in there that are dudes. Like we had our first rounder last year, Nick Lodolo.
Shout out Nick Lodolo.
Lodolo, baby. He's on that taxi squad, which is good for him. I'm sure they're glad to have baseball back. But, I mean, meanwhile, over here, we haven't been told anything yet. We've had speculations. You've seen, I'm sure, all the tweets from baseball players like, oh, this is going to happen. Nobody knows until the commissioner comes out with a freaking stamped letter on Twitter or wherever he posts it to. But for now, we're just staying the course, staying ready, playing catch every day, working out, doing all that good stuff, just staying ready to rock. Because I could get a call driving home tonight. I could get a call in the morning. You never know. Or we might not have a season this year. You never know. So staying ready, and let me tell you, it's hard staying ready with no end goal, because usually every off season it's I report February 25th. I start November 15th. I got this much time to do this. That's going to happen. So it maps out. And with this whole thing going on, you don't know. There's a little trouble finding some motivation every once in a while, right? You know what I mean? Because I'm like, some days I'll catch myself where I could go golf today. I don't have to lift because we're not playing. But if you look at the other way, hey, if I miss this day and we start in a week, I'm screwed. You know what I mean? So finding that balance and that medium and
keeping yourself in fighting shape to where you're ready to. Not that you need to be able to get yourself in a scuffle or be able to fucking hit a fucking home run. But if you, like you said, if you get the call to go back next week or within the fucking few days, you want to be able to be ready for it.
You don't want to be scared. If you get that call and in your heart you have doubt, you know that you fucked up this quarantine, right? You didn't take advantage of what was going on. So that's what I'm trying to stay away from, is that feeling when it does happen of, oh shit, what if I'm not ready? That shouldn't be a thought. It should be, fuck, tell me when and where, I'm there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what's kept me going a little bit, is just be better than when I left. That's a thing that our guys tell us, is because we're on like Zoom and all that crap every day, and their message is just be better than when you left. 1%, 20%, 100%, be better. Don't come back the same or worse. So just kind of sticking to that plan and hopefully get to run it out there and go shove this year.
And that's where, especially in the off season, you definitely have the motivation. Like you probably have. Do you ever do stuff like with like travel teams or stuff like your high school, to where when you rather than just not working out at all, there's no teams even playing right now at all.
Right.
To where you can't even try to keep up in the just. I'm gonna go hit some balls with fucking with my alumni team just to get some batting practice in. I mean, that's not even an option. At least you have.
It was last off season. Like I could go down there. I could go down there any day of the week, throw it with my guys, have a coach watch, get some tips. Now we got none of that. So I've had to sacrifice and throw to a high school catcher. I've had to sacrifice and throw to 14-year-olds just to have somebody in the box. You know what I mean? So beggars can't be choosers when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Because I still have to be ready, and I have to find a way. So I'm not gonna bitch if I'm blowing 95 past a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? But it's just keeping you.
What the hell is this?
Oh man, I feel bad for the catcher, man, because it's such a different thing. I'm not any guy will tell you this. And you go from catching high schoolers as a high schooler to even having to catch a college guy. To being a professional athlete, pitching to I feel cool because it makes him better. When he does a good job, he's like, oh shit, I'm catching a freaking pro baseball player. Like, I can do this. And at the same time, it's cool for me to kind of help him out at the same time. And then there's also times where if I'm having a bad bullpen or something's going on and he's back there clanking stuff and not helping me out, I'll get a little pissed off, but then I just got to reel it back in a little bit. But shout out to every person that has either hit off me, caught me, or taken care of me in this quarantine, because I know they put their lives in jeopardy. You know what I mean? Because who knows who has it and how it's going to come. So shout out to y'all if you're watching. I appreciate those fuckers.
Yeah, just to keep yourself getting those reps in and keeping yourself in that rotation to be able to. I mean, you said, or you have to report, or being that you're not on this taxi, it's called taxi list.
The taxi squad, yeah.
Taxi
so
squad.
you got your big leaguers, like your Cincinnati Reds team, and then they put together a taxi squad for the guys to, let's say Trevor Bauer goes out, blows out, gets hurt, right? They don't have a minor leagues to choose from. Like, we're not playing right now, so they had to put together that taxi squad, and And
do they have like a reserve taxi squad or like essentially like a hierarchy list?
Yeah, they sent it out today. But in regards to all the other minor leaguers that still don't have anything going, they have yet to tell us anything. We're thinking that you ever heard of the Arizona Fall League? So at the end, you ever heard of the Fall League?
Of course I have. Come on.
Jeez, this guy thinks he knows baseball over here.
Dude, I could catch you any day of the week.
Dude.
And
This guy over here,
in the backyard right now?
I take you yard all
I got my
day
spikes in the car. I got my glove. I got my pearl.
Hey, if you needed someone to bullpen with you further, I'll catch you. I'll try. Or just throw.
See, we should film that and put out some comedy because he said he's doing comedy over here. This would be pure comedy.
Bro, my catching defense, off the charts.
Catching defense?
Dude, throw it in the dirt. I'm using my body to block everything.
Dude,
this guy does like
squaring
I'll
jiu-jitsu.
take
up.
a fucking pitch to the fucking chest.
Some Happy Gilmore shit.
Straight up. I'm getting ready for season, dude. How many days? 365 days next season. Got to get ready, coach.
I love that movie. Yeah, but hey, all right, any day.
Any day?
Any day, you name it. I'll be there throwing fuzz.
Yeah?
Fuzz.
I know. I haven't caught in, I can't even, it's probably like 5-7 years at least. I would almost want to do it just to see what it looks like.
I mean, that's what you were saying, like how it like compares
It's
to where like
different.
high
It's a
school,
different-
like college and pro levels, let alone people that like, oh yeah, I played in a softball league or just throw on the ball.
Think about it
with my
like
son.
this. Think about it like this. You're on the freeway. You're in your car. You're going 80 miles an hour. Feels like you're going pretty fast, right? 80 miles an hour is my changeup. Put it up to 95. When you're on a freeway, you know you're going 95. Now think about that in a 60-foot span right there, what that looks like compared to what 80 would look like. It's unbelievable, right? You got guys in the big leagues throwing 105 miles an hour. Think about how hard that is to catch. Dude, props to all the catchers out there, man, that are in the big leagues.
Well, you were a catcher too, so don't.
Whatever. I wasn't any good.
Yeah, you were. What are you talking
Bro,
about?
I couldn't block, dude. I had shitty hands. The only thing I could do is throw it.
Not the third.
Second base. Oh, dude,
Fucking
here we
laser beam to
fucking
second base.
go, dude.
What'd you say, Antonio?
Oh, fuck.
We bringing up some fucking beef right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you guys play back in the day together? Or?
I didn't fucking play with this guy. He went to MV. I went to Vista. We were in
travel ball, I mean. Or anything like that back in the day?
No, I didn't know you until high school.
Yeah, but all right.
I apologize. We can skip over that.
No, it's cool, man. You know.
Well, when you said it, you just kind of set it up.
Well,
for me,
fuck.
So.
I mean, so wait, what happened back in high school, guys? Here, I'll set up the camera. You guys keep talking.
No, leave it. I don't want to be in this because
we don't wanna fucking-
he's gonna punch you pretty soon
No,
here.
no, it's cool. I talk about. I sat.
You posted about it the other day, so that's why.
I did. It's a joke. I'm over it now, but I just know that at the end of this story, at the end of this game, I'd never done this before. I sat down in my shower, not taking a bath. I sat in the shower and cried for about an hour.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It got to you, huh?
What?
So my junior year of high school. Okay, we had one of the best teams that I'd ever seen in high school. Okay, and Temecula Valley were our rivals. That was our competition. And we had found out that they won their semifinal CIF game, so they were going to Dodger Stadium to play the winner of us in Cypress High School. So if we would have beat Cypress that in CIF in the semifinal game, we would have played Temecula Valley for the championship at Dodger Stadium, right? Think about that. All the guys talk shit to the schools back and forth. It was a pretty dope rivalry. So let's fast forward to, let's see, I think it was the 6th inning, we were top of 7th. We were tied 6-6, I believe, or something like that, and we were playing good baseball. Our pitcher, Tyler Russell.
Modelo. Oh, that's fine.
Russ was throwing. Oh yeah, he's already got the Modelos. I love
We
that.
got Modelo's. We got it all.
That's
pass
not
that
good.
down?
That's not good for the velo pouch. But
Can you pass that down to me?
oh, that's yours.
Yeah, unless you want it.
I was gonna take it.
Oh yeah, we got plenty.
Oh, plenty.
All right. Yeah. You got a bottle opener
Right there,
Oh,
that dog.
Love that. All right. So we're tied against Cypress and we're playing good. Russ is dealing on the mound, and I'm catching at the moment. And we had 2 outs. Okay. So with 2 outs, what happens is the defense will go into what's called no doubles. Okay, so that means first base and third base are hugging the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nothing, no shit
Nothing getting
hits that would not supposed to happen. Okay. T-Russ, it's 2 strikes. We're facing my buddy Eli Skips, who went to U of A and then Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Big old lefty. We get him 2 strikes. He throws a breaking ball. Eli kind of one hand. He's a lefty. Kind of one hand out front, slaps it down the right field line in between Ian Nowak. He's an asshole. We were playing no doubles, so he put us in the spot to begin with. And so we got 2 outs. Eli's on second base, and Russ has a really, really good breaking ball. He can throw it wherever he wants. It's real sharp, and with 2 strikes, I want that in the ground, right, so it doesn't hit it. So Eli's on second. We get 2 strikes again, 2 outs, tie ball game, top of 7. We're going in the bottom 7th. We get out of this. We got a chance, right? 0-2. I say, hey, we're going breaking ball. I want it in the dirt. I'll block it. I'll take care of it. Throw it in the dirt. Eli went to play college ball. Good ball player, okay? So he sees out of Russ's hand the breaking ball starting down a little bit. So he starts to take a secondary. He's going to read the ball in dirt, right? I block it. It wasn't the best block because the best block, it drops down straight in front of you. It means you did everything right. This kind of hit off high on my chest a little bit and bounced maybe 5 or 6 feet in front of me.
Back to the grass.
Back towards the pitcher's mound a little bit. It's still in the dirt right there, right in front
Just
of the
back to the pitcher, yeah.
Yep. And I blocked it. I got up. I saw Skips was taken off to third, and I tried to make a spectacular play. I barehanded it, and I tried to throw off balance on 1 foot, and I one-hopped it to third base. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not throwing Ruben Ornelas underneath the bus, okay? But he kind of
fuck Ruben Benales.
Correct. Fuck you, Ruben, because I have to hear about this the rest of my fucking life. Kind of gets out of the way a little bit, and it rolls up his arm, and I have pictures of it. I posted it on the social media the other day. Got a lot of feedback on that. Reminders.
Antonio, pull it up.
And it was on my story.
Yeah,
it was on my story.
Okay, never mind.
I could probably find it. I'll send it to you.
Worries.
And then
Let's not bring it up. It's just
so it gets by him. Eli scores, and we ended up losing the game 7-6. I mean, it was crazy because at that time, high school ball was the only big baseball in my life. I wasn't a pro, wasn't in college, and I'll never forget. We had the whole football and track team out on the outfield because the football field was right there, so they were watching. We had all the spirit squad,
Everybody was
packed house, right? It was awesome environment, and I got to put on that performance for everybody, and we lost 7-6. But I won't go into what happened on offense. In the bottom of the 7th because there was a missed opportunity there as well. But you live and you learn. It's a crazy experience, and like I said, if we would have beat Cypress, we would have played Temecula Valley for the freaking CIF championship game at Dodger Stadium. So,
and had you beaten them during the?
Oh yeah, we destroyed Temecula that year.
I mean, how did they fucking make it all the way to CIF at that point? I mean, did you feel like it was?
That's how good we were. I truly feel that Temecula Valley was so good, but we were better that year, and it happened to be determined off of. I know a game isn't won or lost on one play, but
just like
like it.
I mean, just
like the cut and all that stuff in golf for sure. But it's funny, man, because all my good buddies that have been with me since high school all remember, and especially when I see my TV buddies, they always flash their freaking rings at me whenever it's laying around, or they'll show me something at Temecula Valley, and it hurts my heart.
Never gonna let
well,
you live it
just
down.
show them your signing bonus.
Nah, let's not go there.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck you guys. But I only bring it up just to not mess you. You always bring it up, so I'm always not always bringing it up, but you kind of
No, for sure.
You posted it literally 4 days ago.
Their signing bonus.
What's that?
They'll show you their stimulus check while you show them their signing.
The what? $1,200
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll show you my stim
Hey,
check.
I get that too. Let me see if somebody replied to it. I'm gonna pull it up, see if I got it on here.
But dude, that was in the past. It was like a one-time thing, and like obviously that's like a big thing for you, and it's like you probably felt the burden, or you probably felt like it was your fault, but like at the same time, it was like at the end of the day, it's just a ball game. It's not. But now you're onto bigger and better things. Like you're playing in like the minor leagues right now, so it's like.
Did you know prior to that game that you were going into the minor leagues?
No, not at all.
That's another thing.
Well, obviously that was college after that, but I mean,
I was still a catcher.
Yeah,
in high school, and I went to Riverside as a catcher, and I wasn't good enough to be like hey, I know catching is going to be my thing. But when I got to Riverside, my head coach, Troy Percival, played for the Angels for like 7 or 8 years, won the 2002 World Series with them. If you ever see on highlights of the Angels winning the World Series, the guy that is pitching, Percival, he throws his hands up when the guy catches it. That was my head coach in college. So he was a catcher, and then he got drafted as a catcher, and then he didn't play one game as a catcher. They turned him over to a pitcher. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that going in there. And after my fall ball year, my freshman fall at Riverside, it was winter break. So I'm down here. Obviously, Riverside's 30 minutes up the road. He calls me. He's like, "Hey, Lil, you ever pitched before?" And I was like, like in rec ball growing up, nothing crazy. And he goes, "Well, fucking get your ass down here. I want you to throw a bullpen for me. I want to look at something." And you're always taught to be coachable, and whatever coach says, you do it. But I was hesitant about it. So I get down there and I throw. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I threw like 15 pitches. He goes, "You got a curveball or any off-speed pitch?" I go, "I think." So I tried to throw what I thought was a curveball, and I finished the bullpen. He goes, "Cool, thanks, man. You're my closer this year." And I was like, What are you talking about? Like, I'm a freshman in the Big West. Big West is stacked.
Yeah.
Okay. And you want me to close as a freshman. I'd never pitched competitively in a legit game like that, really. And thank God he did that, because that was the best thing in baseball that ever happened to me. So I took it, I ran with it, and thank God I'm a competitive asshole, because that's the only thing that got me through. And then over the years, I started getting into it and pitching lessons and really diving into it. And it's been my thing ever since. And it happened to be, like I said, something I'm pretty good at. So
how long were you a catcher almost your entire
whole
life
life
before that?
Since my dad tells this story all the time. When we were like 8 years old and machine pitch or whatever, he goes, "Fucking put your gear on. You're gonna catch." And I was like, "Sure, okay." So I sit down behind the machine. I have my glove up. He puts it in the machine. I don't move my glove. It hits me right in the middle of the neck. First time ever trying to catch.
First pitch ever.
And he goes, "Okay, he's not going to catch anymore." I get it, put some ice on it. I go, "All right, let's go back." So he said, ever since I did that, he goes, "You're going to be a catcher the rest of your life." Obviously, didn't work out.
Not
but
the rest of your life, but
correct.
Majority of your baseball career so far, you've been.
Dude, trust me, I miss catching so much, man. It's so fun being back there, being like that guy that is in every single play, right? Like, you're the captain technically, right? Because you see the entire field. Coach is always talking to you. Like, it's a cool thing, and I think that helped me out being a catcher my whole life. Now that I'm pitching, I know what catchers are going through. I know what that is supposed to look like. So usually when I get a good catcher, we mesh pretty well. Not a lot of shaking off, because we're just usually on the same page. And if I wasn't a catcher, I don't think it would have been that easy. So, I mean, thank God I got turned over to a pitcher.
Yeah, that was like one of the best things that. No, I'm not saying like,
no,
but like
sure.
you, like that was your road to the show. It's like you're a good PO, and like
I can still hit though.
You could hit bombs, like you can hit nukes, but
yeah, and even if you weren't going to be a pitcher long term, it still gives you the, like you said, the fact that you were a catcher, you have a different mindset on what the catcher's going through and what the fucking struggles and shit, to where your batters, same thing. You know all of the different positions.
Right,
I mean,
right.
to where you know how to where you can.
I know
carry
what I
over.
would have thought when I was hitting, right? So I'm pitching somebody. I know how I was thinking. If I threw 2 fastballs and I got to 2 strikes, what are the odds that I'm going to throw a breaking ball? Pretty high, right? So I knew what I was looking for as a hitter. So now I'm pitching. I have a better understanding.
He's going to be thinking a breaking ball, or
at least I have a better idea, because those guys in pro ball are pretty damn good hitters. But like you said, doing that for so long has helped me out a lot. Because, dude, a lot of people don't realize what goes into pre-starts when I pitch, and even just not with me, all pitchers in general. Like, the homework that you have to do, it's not just show up and get on a mound and you're like, "Oh, we're facing the Pirates today. Okay, what does this guy look like?" Like, there's actually a lot of homework and studying, especially with all the analytics that are going on in baseball now. You have so much information to to better yourself from, and it's up to you to they don't force you to do it, right? But I bring my laptop to the field every day when I pitch. Our video guy sends me the lineup for that day. We have what's called True Media, and you type in their names, and it's all their hot spots, their tendencies, what pitches they like to hit, they don't hit, where, what they've done in their last 10 games, because he might be struggling. So he's not struggling on one pitch his entire life. Like, he may get to the inside fastball really well in the early on the season, but if I face him 4 months down the road again, he may not be getting to that pitch again. So it's there's so much stuff that goes into my starts that a lot of people don't see. So that's where having a good catcher comes into play, because he'll pull his ass up right next to me, get a coffee, put a dip in with your boy, and we'll sit right here and, hey, okay, so we like this guy doesn't handle that pitch there. Like, let's tack there. If he shows he can do that, let's go here. Like, it's cat and mouse a lot, because everybody's good. Every pitcher has a hard fastball, a good breaking ball. Every hitter can hit a good fastball and a good breaking ball. So now, how do you better yourself, and how do you attack a guy to maybe his weaknesses instead of just trying to throw your best stuff against his best stuff, right? You try to get that mismatch, and it's every pitch, because it could change in every pitch, right? So if I see a guy make an adjustment on something that he wasn't supposed to do well, I'm the idiot that if I try to keep doing that same thing instead of he just reacted. So now I have to make the adjustment like that. And that's what makes big leaguers big leaguers. They say, Mike Trout, they say what makes Mike Trout the greatest baseball player of all time is that he could be late on an inside fastball he could have swung 2 days late. If you try to do it again, he will beat you, because he makes that adjustment so fast, where I think the delay time it takes a big leaguer at least 2 pitches to make the adjustment. A minor leaguer, it takes maybe 2 at-bats to make the adjustment. College guys, it takes maybe 2 games to make the adjustment, and so forth, right? So it's how fast you can make an adjustment and react is what I think separates minor leaguers and big leaguers. It's consistency.
Let alone in the fractions of a second that you have to react, that a fucking 100-mile-per-hour fastball is coming at you. Not just as a batter, but everybody out there on the fucking field has to, like, put through the different scenarios on where the fuck this ball could go. And obviously you said the one time you guys were playing, what was it, the guys on first and third?
No doubles.
No doubles, to where obviously, like, that's what you guys are planning for.
Right.
But so many other things could happen and go wrong or right, to where it's out of your control, to where you have to be able to react on that fly, to where on that professional level you're seeing that it takes 2 pitches to be able to get onto it, to where I mean, even just as a personal level, Mike Trout, he can do it on the fly even before you even think it's happening, to where I mean, we're looking at our buddies on the golf course like Brent. I mean, he's probably on your sense as far as, like, if something's wrong with his game, it's probably going to take him, say, those 2 pitches.
X amount of swings,
2 swings to figure out, oh, shit, this is why I'm blocking it. This is why I'm hitting out to the right. And I'm going to be able to correct it, and then be able to – where as far as us, we go out on the golf course, we have to fucking play 9 holes just to figure out, shit, this
figure
is
out
why
one small thing.
And then you have a whole slew of problems that you're still trying to figure out, to where, I mean, the golfers baseball and golf, they're as different of sports they are, I feel they translate so similar
100%.
To where obviously they're not super fast paced outside of the reaction time of making the swing and the pitch and the play going on at that time, to where otherwise it's a long process to where you can either tire yourself out or get yourself in a different headspace to where you're like, fuck, I've been shanking it these last few holes, or like, fuck, I haven't gotten out. I've missed these last fucking, I haven't gotten a strike to these last 3 batters, to where it's like, it can tax on you, to where unless you're able to react to it and get that switch in your mind and in your game to be able to, I mean, as a baseball player, it's not, as a golfer, it's how you're playing versus the golf course, whereas a baseball player, it's you versus the elements and against another team, to where there's so much more that could fuck with you in your strives to.
Yeah, it's funny you say that in regards to how many different things can mess somebody up, that you're worrying. Like, it's funny, you do it all the time, right? If you fix let's say you're downswing in golf, okay, and you're working on your downswing, but let's say your takeaway sucks, right? You're working on your downswing, but you're going to start worrying about your take back, right? And then you start worrying about your take back, and then your alignment's fucked up. So now you're worrying about your take back, your downswing, and your alignment, right? Now you're working on your alignment, and you start worrying about, my hands are quick now, right? It's just there's so many distractions that can take away from somebody getting better, right? So that's where this is something that I'm working on, is finding a routine that stays the exact same, right? So it's always that constant variable of X. Like, this is what I'm doing, good or bad. This is where I'm going to be because I know it's going to make me better, right? So if I'm struggling, okay, I'm going to be doing the same exact thing in routine, obviously with a couple fixes here and there if it's mechanical or whatever. And if I do really, really, really good, still going to do the same thing. Because if I'm after every start trying to search for something that is wrong or whatever, you're going to be constantly doing
fluctuating all over the place.
Correct.
To where there's not a constant to where you at least know this is always worked for me, whether during practice or
right.
in previous games, to where I can always go back to it, to where I mean, it might be this guy has fucking he's made contact every fucking at bat, to where it's not, no fault of my own, but I just got to keep sticking with what my mechanics, to where if you try to I really got to try to crank this one, next thing you know, you start throwing wild pitches, and then
one thing leads to another, where now you're worrying about so many different things, and that's exhausting.
So far down the rabbit hole.
Especially with 140 games of every single day. If you're every single day worrying about something new, that will literally wear on you. It'll tear you down, right? So I think it was Steven Strasburg, Washington Nationals, said he found this routine senior year of high school, hasn't changed from it since, right? So he'll go out if it's he's late in his delivery where his hand is down while his foot lands and he's got to get it up. If that's what he's working on, that's what he's working on. He doesn't give a fuck about anything else. He literally, before he starts his day, he picks one thing that he's going to either make better or make not as shitty, right? So he'll always pick something. He's never worrying about multiple different things, and I feel like that's why he's so successful, and a lot of guys do that, because the ones that are, like I said, always looking for something, you'll never be able to make one thing amazing, right? So make your strengths better and make your weaknesses a little better, right? But if you can constantly focus on making your best thing even better, that'll level out your average to shitty whatever it is. You know what I mean? So,
and if that's the only thing, I mean, not that it's propels you in, I mean, succeeding in whatever it is, but if a lot of times people, that's like, fuck, I have a fastball that's 120 miles per hour. Fuck, why would you do anything other than that if it's working for you? So it's like, if people are get so far down that rabbit hole and shit that's not working for them, just go back to basics and the fundamentals. And I mean, we keep going back to golf, but that's why I love how baseball and golf are so similar, to where if you stick to your fundamentals and just the basics, obviously you have to adjust to the small variables of where that pitch is coming in that batter's box, or the type of lie that the golf ball's on, or the wind I mean, you probably still have to deal with wind and all different elements. Outside of just the ball coming at you.
If the wind's blowing out hard as hell that day, I know that if I give up fly balls, the chance of a home run is a lot higher. So that day, it's blowing wind as shit. My goal is everything down. Ground balls. Because if I'll fuck up. If one of my weaknesses or strengths is pitching a high fastball, right? Because that's where I get all my swings and misses. I can't do that because that's dumb. I know if the guy gets it, it's windy as shit, it's gone. You know what I mean? So being able to fine tune and be able to deal with what's going on in the moment is so huge.
Do you pick something like that? I mean, obviously you said you do your homework with with each batter. You know what their strengths and weaknesses. But like you said, if it's windy for the day, obviously down and
right.
Do you try to have some? What's your kind of one thing that you always do? You have one thing, or
that's my go-to?
Yeah, I mean,
my fastball, man. With all the analytics, right? Remember, you ever heard of spin rate?
I mean, in golf, yeah, but not in fucking.
So You got baseball in here? Nope, probably
No,
not.
we got golf balls over there.
Yeah. So, okay. So, you know how there's seams on the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they've measured now spin rate. So, it's how many times you can spin the baseball from 60 feet away. So, the big league average spin rate fastball is 2,200. Okay? And that's average. Okay? You ever heard of this guy throws a heavy ball or throws like a bowling ball? Or oh man, like that gets on you pretty quick and it's only 92. How is that possible? It's because of how tight the ball spins, right? My spin rate on my four-seam fastball is 2450. The big league average is 22. So
you're
a little bit, right? So my strength is my fastball, right? Because I could get away with 92 right down the middle with most guys that don't throw as hard and or don't have that spin where it doesn't look like it's coming in as fast. So my strength is my fastball, and especially up in the strike zone. You ever heard of launch angle for baseball?
In baseball, no. I stopped playing baseball when they took the tee away. So it's fucking. It's been a minute since I've been on the diamond, But
so they're trying to teach this new swing, right? I mean, in high school and college, you always heard, "Hey, we want to hit down on the ball, put backspin on it." They don't fucking do that anymore. It's all launch angle. They teach this long, dumpy swing that's trying to launch the ball in the air for home runs.
It's the same with golf. I mean, obviously, drivers now, you want to be able to have your launch angle high, and you want to be able to.
Right.
I mean, fuck, we need to have Brent in here to be able to tell us all this shit. I mean,
he probably talk for days on that shit.
I've talked to him about having him come on, and he'll be on once he's scheduled. I mean, now that he's fucking traveling and shit, he's probably gonna be.
Oh, for sure.
Once he's back in town, we'll have him back.
Dude, that'd be sick. But anyways, right? So think about. You ever heard in baseball they say that it looks like when a pitcher throws it, the ball rises?
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. Balls don't rise. Everything comes down. The illusion of the fastball rising is that I can make a ball stay straighter longer because of how it spins through the air, right? So if I give a hitter an illusion that my fastball is rising and they're teaching this launch angle swing, my strength now is letters with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball because it's spinning so tight that with this new swing, I get foul balls and swings and misses all fucking day up there. If I pitch down, I'm fucked. I give up. My weakness is down and in. When I miss with a fastball, whether to a righty, down and in, or away to a lefty, I get fucked.
Really?
So I have, and you're always told, you got to pitch down in the zone, got to be down. Fuck that. Because with my spin rate, that shit, if I throw my perfect pitch, I don't get touched.
Yeah. Well, and I've been seeing some videos of these catchers where they're really low and they're snagging them back up into, and that's where you feel that if you were trying to keep it that low, you're going to get fucked to where you don't even want
to. The difference with those guys that are able to pitch down is that, one, they're tall as shit. Okay, so they automatically get the ball to come straight down. I'm shorter. So
how tall are you? You're fucking
5'10" and a half.
Not short, but
5'11" in spikes.
You're not Chapman.
Dude, Chapman throws goddamn 104 and he's 6'8".
Yeah.
Lefty.
Just how tall is Clayton Kershaw? He's fucking.
He's like 6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean lefty, so it's a variable.
Yeah, but when they let go of the ball, it feels like it's already fucking at the plate.
Right. So if I'm if I'm a 6'8" guy and I'm throwing from up here on a mound, that ball has to come down. Where if I'm shorter, I'm a little more level to the ground, so it's going to stay here. Right. So those guys they're usually taller. They have movement like cutters and sinkers that are all going down. I don't throw anything that goes down other than a changeup. So obviously my off speed, I want down. Fastballs, I want belt to about right there. If I miss down, because one, I'm short, and two, my ball's riding. So if I'm down and my ball rides, and that launch angle shit, I get touched.
So guys that I know as far as high school, T. Russ, and
right.
You know Brayman?
Vince, yeah, dude.
Good buddy of mine since fucking first grade.
Dude,
yeah.
Oh, man, Vince, fucking guy. He lives in NorCal now, and he's fucking married.
Yeah, dude. He just got back on social media.
Yeah,
I
just
that shit.
Hit
him up. He hit me back up and everything.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, shout out to Vince. But, yeah, for guys taller guys like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Vince also threw a power sinker. He got a lot of movement on his ball. So he had the best of both worlds. He was tall as shit, threw straight down, and it had movement, right? I think if he was if he threw a little bit harder, he could have played a really long time. God didn't give him the ability to throw 95 fucking miles an hour. Like, that's also where the game is heading these days, is velo and home runs. If you don't throw as hard, you kind of get looked at as he probably doesn't have a chance. Mm-hmm. So I think if Vince threw a little bit harder, you would be able to see that shit because he's tall, he's lengthy, and can fucking throw that thing down there. So
what's your pitches right now? So you got your fastball, your 4-seam, 2-seam.
So
what are you throwing?
They took away with all this new analytic shit. They broke down what my best pitches are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They got rid of my 2-seam because, like I said, we don't want stuff going down, so they banged that. 4-seam, obviously. I throw a slider and a changeup. I don't throw a circle. It's called a fosh. So, like, my fingers
one in the pink, 2 in the stink.
Basically.
4 and 1. It looks like 3 and 1.
3 and 1. So I throw it like this, and I try to throw it straight down. And it's called tunneling. Dude, we could talk about this all fucking night.
I'm here.
Yeah, dude. Fucking
listen.
This will be a 4-hour Joe Rogan podcast.
Dude, I love Rogan. Anyways, tunneling,
he's our
right?
next guest, actually.
Dude, sick. Coming here?
Yeah.
You going there?
Here, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
COVID testing?
Mm-hmm. Mask and wipes on the table.
Yeah, cool. We're going to have to wipe down here after this. Mm-hmm. I might have it. So tunneling, right? Your job as a pitcher is to make every single pitch you throw look the same as long as you can, right? So obviously they're going to start moving at different spots. So if you're a hitter, you hit your whole life. You're trained to see movement and straight and spin and all this stuff. So if I'm a pitcher that throws a fastball and a slider, and my fastball goes straight and my slider breaks left early, right? You're going to be able, as a hitter, you're going to be able to see that. Yeah. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So my goal is to make everything look the same, okay? With all the analytic and stats and stuff like that, I'm not a side-to-side pitcher. I'm an up-to-down, okay? So my fastball rises, my slider used to cut, and my 2-seam would run. So we're banging both of those, and we're trying to get everything to go on this scale.
That vertical plane.
Correct.
In that tunnel.
So it's called vertical and horizontal break. So we want to stay away from horizontal break, and we want to get to vertical.
Is that just with you, the horizontal break? Just with you? Or is that with everybody?
Yeah. Okay. Just with me, yeah. Because they can break down everybody's strengths on paper, right? So then you could go, hey, I have so much horizontal run on my fastball, and my slider is also horizontal as fuck, right? So that's your go-to. If you're a guy that his shit moves like that much sideways, but you can throw a breaking ball that moves up to down like this and your fastball rides, that's your strength, right? So we're trying to throw a curveball in there as well. Something that's slower than my slider, but still is up to down. Mm-hmm. So, and that changeup, I've gotten good enough with it where if this is the ball right here, and I'm like this, if I put my thumb on the bottom, it'll run. Mm. If I go closer to my pointer finger, I'll get it to drop straight down. So that's something that is huge for me, because there'll be some times where I'm like, hey, my strength is that my changeup goes down, but this guy crushes changeups down.
Put that little spin on it.
Side spin on it. You know what I mean? So that's the art of pitching that we all try to master. I'm not saying I'm anywhere near that, but that's my goal. So I got 4-seam, a slider that used to cut, and now we're getting it to go down. And then the changeup is called a fosh. That's what we call it, a fosh.
Who made that one? That's a new one I've never heard, to be honest with you.
Does it stand for something, or what's fosh?
It's like a fastball changeup combo.
What are you throwing that at?
When it's good, it's 82 to 85. When I start throwing it a little too hard, which happens at the end of season for some fucking reason, I can get it to like 90 miles an hour. Jeez. And it's not good, because my 93 fastball and my 90 mile an hour changeup is not a big enough separation. No. You look for 8 to 10 off your fastball for off speed. So if I'm throwing 95, a perfect slider for me is 85. Right? So when that gap starts getting closer, the swings and misses go away, and a lot more contact happens. So the fosh, like, it's all called like, it's called a split change. I'm sure you've heard of split change, but it's just what we call it, right? So I got the fosh, and then, like I said, it's new, but we're adding a spiked curveball. So my finger spiked. Knuckle curve. Yeah. And so the key with that is I try to have this side of my wrist pointed at the hitter as long as possible, and then feel like I
rolling over the top of your finger.
So
like
I don't throw it with this. I don't throw it with this. My goal is my thumb. So if I get here, I try to throw my thumb and like stamp the dude in the forehead.
Yeah.
So that's my thought process is I try to get here and stamp the fucker on his forehead. If I do that, I have no margin of error for left to right. If I get on the side and I start spinning or I don't get over there, you're going to see the ball kind of take off in these different positions. So like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It's an art, and that's why there's minor leagues, is because nobody can perfect that in a short amount of time. It takes a while. So, and being able to read hitters like we were talking about earlier, it's just there's so much development. And the guys that are 22, 24 in the big leagues, those are special human beings, right? Not all of us are special human beings. You know what I mean? So, but whoever can make those adjustments faster, like we were talking about, be more consistent a lot faster, are going to fucking go. So I was on a good pace, and I fucked up last year. Had kind of a shit year. I got promoted to AA, and then I got fucking demoted. So just because it's a huge learning curve from high A to AA. That AA is where boys become men. And I shoved half of the time, and then I went on this really bad streak. And so they sent me down to go help with playoffs, but I knew it was more of a go back to high A, get your confidence back, and we'll start in AA next year, which was supposed to happen until this fucking COVID shit came and got us right in the ass.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fucked everyone over,
Dude.
especially like the minor league players, because like everyone's trying to like they talk about player negotiations right now, but like they don't talk about the minor league players that are actually like really living day to day.
They talk
or
to them.
the guys that have like.
What happened here?
Oh, that's just the.
Did it turn off? Oh, is it on? There's no red button. Uh-oh. So we're only audio now, but we're gonna come back. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just keep talking.
There's player negotiations, and those are called it's called getting released.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy thing for the first time ever. Cuts happened on the same day instead of multiple times throughout a year. So what people don't realize is that in every camp with every team at the end of spring training, guys are going to get cut.
Yep.
Throughout a year, guys are going to get cut because when is the draft?
Are you asking me? Pop quizzing me?
Yep. Oh, fuck. I was just.
Fuck, I don't know.
We didn't
dude.
do.
July?
It just happened, right?
Yeah.
So June.
June.
Okay. Should we be playing in June?
No. Yes.
Yes. We would be right.
Oh, like MLB?
Yeah, like my
season
and stuff. Like we would be in the middle of a season, and you get a draft. So you're getting.
I'm all fucked up.
You're getting all these new players coming in, right? And there's going to be guys in that draft that are going to take your job. So what had to happen, all on that one day, it was a big social media thing. They were like, "Wow, I can't believe this team released this many guys during this quarantine," or "Wow, they're not releasing anybody. That's awesome for them." It was the first time it was really broadcasted, and it happened on one day. Releases happen every year. Every year. People know it's coming, right? It just all happened on that one crazy day, and there was like fucking Twitter war about it because all these people were like, you can't release these players during quarantine. That's their life. Like, it was coming. Yeah. It happened for a reason. You know what I mean? So,
well, not even, you don't have to speak to this, but like, I mean, obviously you guys aren't getting paid from what I heard, and don't even speak to that because I don't want you to get in trouble or anything like that. But like,
we're getting paid.
Oh, you are?
Yep.
Okay, never mind. I heard something wrong. But anyways, but like guys that have like leases and stuff that like or like they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna, I'm gonna stay down in Florida because I'm gonna play the season. And then like they have their house lease and they have all these other commitments that they have payment wise, and then like this whole thing happens where they're not playing anymore. It's like,
so it was up to each organization individually if they were gonna agree to pay their players or not. Luckily, shout out to the Cincinnati Reds, they are paying us $400 every 2 weeks.
Well, I hear there's other organizations that are not.
Yeah, correct. There are teams that said, "Hey, we can't afford to pay you."
Yeah,
and that's where this whole ass argument has been coming from. Is big league baseball teams are multi-millionaire companies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and they're saying, "Hey, we can't pay you guys."
Yeah,
and the best part is, man, is it happened a lot. Like the big leaguers, the for sure lockdown big leaguers, like the solidified guys, they all pitched in for some of the minor leaguers. So they'll be like the top 5 guys that make over $20 million a year. They all put together $1 million and gave it to the team and said, hey, go pay these guys that aren't getting paid.
That's what's up.
So Nick Senzel, who's our utility guy in the big leagues, he when all the guys got released on that one day, I guess he went about it personally to those guys and put together a little something to help them out. But on the lease side of things is you're fucked.
Yeah.
If that happens.
Yeah.
Like you're fucked. And especially when you're not getting paid, like that comes out of your pocket now.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was no real way to get around this. But I was lucky enough that the Reds, they have 3 different apartment facilities that in spring training, they don't charge you. And they put you up with like 4 guys. But your meal money is a little less than the guys that live out. So I guess technically they do make you pay for it a little bit, but it's like $8 a day.
Okay.
Or something like that. It's pretty cool. We're lucky, man. But dude, talking about leases and shit like that, the craziest thing is during season. Because most places don't have host families. So last year when we got to Daytona Beach, they put us in the hotel for 3 days. We hadn't even started a game yet. Like 3 days. They said you got 3 days to find a spot. So now you guys are all rambling, scrambling everywhere to go find a place that's affordable, has the right amount of the month for the lease, right? Because most places won't do like a 4 to 5 month lease.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, I got fucked last year. Because the only place that I could find in that short amount of time was like a 10-month lease.
So you're paying extra.
I ain't there
Yeah,
for
you're
10 months. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And if you get called up, you're paying for a place unless somebody comes in and takes your spot.
Sublease it. Yeah.
You're paying for a place that you don't even fucking live at anymore.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing, too, is when you get called up, like I got called up at 11 o'clock at night. I had to be in Chattanooga the next day. To go, I wasn't playing the next day because I just pitched. But sorry,
No, you're good. You're good.
I had to get down there, and you get down there, and you're with a new team unless you know some of the guys somehow, and now your job you have to do is where the fuck am I living tonight?
Oh, so you have to do it again.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, let alone, those 3 days that they gave you, did you still have to report to practice and
Oh yeah,
shit and
yeah.
workouts and shit?
We had workouts.
So you had to be a real estate agent on.
Yeah,
Bro, and
you
we
gotta
didn't have cars out there yet. We didn't have enough time to get it shipped out there yet. So I swear to God, dude, I remember like it was yesterday. Me and my buddies were in an Uber to some real estate agency in fucking Daytona Beach, Florida.
Oh shit.
To go find us an apartment, like or a condo. You know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy. People don't see that side. You know what I mean? And like
the grind that you guys have to go through. I mean, even on like a professional level, you think that like that you'd be taken care of, or like, oh, they're a professional athlete, they make money, it's not even an issue for them, or their manager or whoever will take care for it. No, you're still normal people and fucking grinding to where you got to pay your bills, to where you, I mean, like you said, this offseason you just have to get you're working in the fucking cart barn in a golf course to where it's
That's just his grind mentality. He always does that. Shit.
Well, and that's where some people
Grinder.
that when they get to that professional level, they get the contract and then they lose that mentality or that grindingness to where that drive just isn't in them anymore. They got the money, they got the paycheck. It's I'm here, I made it.
You got to shout out to my folks though, man, because they're the ones that taught me from this age how I was gonna be as a man, right? And I'm not gonna name names, but I know somebody that grew up with this family and he made it big, and they crossed paths at a bar, and she goes running up to him like, "Hi, man, it was so good to see you again. How you doing?" And he was with his buddies, like his big league buddies, and straight up looks at her in the face and goes, "Sorry, who are you?"
Said this to who?
I
We don't
can't.
want
Wait.
we don't want to name drop anyone.
Said it to a lady that you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
We all know.
Okay.
And I'll tell you guys after. But
Talk about it off
yeah.
air.
Yeah.
And he came from nothing, and all of a sudden now he's big time and pulls that shit against a family friend that he grew up with forever. Like, bro, you don't. No matter if you're goddamn Mike Trout, dude, you don't do that.
No, you always got to have that humility and be humble to where it's cool. Like, I mean, you saw when Phil Mickelson came to the golf course.
Dude.
He's like, not that he's a normal guy, because obviously he's not a normal fucking person, but just the way he interacts with people, he understands that you're fucking you're working right now. You're like you clocked in right
Here's
now.
$100 bucks to move my bag 10 feet.
Exactly, to where the fact that you, and I've been harping on this for a while now, that people that don't ever, like professional athletes that don't have either normal jobs or understand how people in any normal day-to-day lifestyle go through, it's hard to relate, or just like the different positions in on your team. Like the fact that you were a catcher and now a pitcher, you know how they react and will like on different scenarios to where. I mean, if you were like Phil, he doesn't know how a fucking 9 to 5 regular person coming in and clocking in first thing in the morning has to deal with. To obviously, he can respect that level of what you're going through and see. Obviously, like he has the means to tip you $100, but it's in his nature to still go out of his way and respect your hustle.
He doesn't have to tip you, dude.
Doesn't have to.
Trust. You know how many? I'm sure there's so many tour guys that go back to their country clubs, and the world is evolving around them, and they're there to do their thing, and nobody else matters. Like you don't do that. You know that's not how mama raised you. You know what I mean?
It's just human nature. I mean, it's ethics. You know,
I think I'm lucky enough because my pops, man, growing up, he still does it. Works the night shift for Ralph's, and he's been doing that since he was 16 years old. I think he said some crazy number of like it's now 41 straight years of doing that.
Wow.
And the craziest thing is he sleeps during the day. He gets up for lunch or for dinner at 6 o'clock with us, goes back to bed. He's out of the door at 11 o'clock at night. Drives to Corona, works the night shift. He's old, out of shape. His body's breaking, and he's still out there working his ass off. Gets home on an average day, 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning. If it's a brutal day, he's home at 2. And then he gets to go back to sleep till dinner time at 6 and does it all over again. And the craziest part is he
complained, right?
Never.
Exactly.
He coached me growing up. So we played usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, what if my dad didn't have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and we had the 8 a.m. game in San Clemente, right? He's in Corona, so he works all night, drives his tired ass down to San Clemente for that 8 o'clock game, puts on a fucking smile, kicks my ass, and we get after it. And then goes home, sleeps in his car in between games, like gets 2 hours, 4 hours of sleep a day, and has to go back to work. And it's like I never understood that growing up, and then when I grew up a little bit, man, and I got to see what that was actually like, it meant the world to me, bro. Like I'll never take that for granted. And that's why the first thing I'm doing, bro, when I get paid and I make it, is I'm retiring his ass and my mom.
Taking care of them.
They're done. They're done working because they've done so much, dude, for me to be sitting here drinking a beer on a podcast talking about baseball. It's because of those fuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's where, like, to be able to respect their, obviously, like, to work exactly what he's doing and fucking those hours is so strenuous to be able to, like, to be able to do that, anybody, it's fucking hard and could be beating on them to where, I could imagine he's probably had so many times in his life to where it's like, fuck this, like, to where, on a different level on a baseball, like, fuck, like, I'm on a 4-game losing streak. Like, what the fuck? Like, why am I even doing this, you know? To where, like, he's fucking dealing with shit fucking all night long, dude, terrible hours and shit, dude. That's a whole fucking...
Yeah, but you probably appreciate it because now as you're growing up, you realize, like... I'm cutting...
Yeah, I told you, that cord.
As you're growing up, you realize how much, like, you always had, like... Your dad probably always gave you like the best bat, the best glove, but that's not because you had the meat, like the crazy, like rich parents. It's like because your dad sacrificed so much.
Oh,
and
dude.
Now you're fucking, you realize that and you're seeing it like, wow, my parents.
Oh yeah.
My parents are like the best. Like that's what you think.
Like now that I'm grown too, there's so many times when he comes home and I got to hear about it at dinner, and you can see the look on his face where he's dog tired, and he's talking about his bitch of a boss and what she's doing to him. Dude, there's so many times I want to drive down there, pull her out of her fucking office and tell her what the fuck is going on. Because, dude, he's 54 now, 53. His body's done, and he's still throwing loads around at night, stocking shelves and shit for 10 hours, dude. Like, every day, every night. And she has the audacity to walk in there and bitch at my dad. Like, I'd never looked at it that way until I got to play a fucking kids game for a living. You know what I mean?
How lucky are you, man? Like, but what? Okay, so speaking of that, what motivates Ryan Lillie, going forward? Like, what keeps you grinding? What keeps you hungry? What keeps you, like you said, there's days where you like wanna like, I could take today off, but like, what is it? Is it like the desire just to be successful? Is it, retire your parents? I mean, is it all the above? What is it?
Trying to get to that Mike Trout level. Yeah,
Fuck,
like
obviously.
I'll never be that level, but when I say these things, this is what gets me going, right? This is no reflection on anybody in my life, okay? Usually in August, okay, is summertime, right? And we call it the dog days of August because that's where our bodies are starting to break down. We're tired as fuck, and it's hot as shit. I'll go on my Instagram or my Snapchat, and I'll see all my buddies doing the Coachella, the Stagecoach, the river, all this stuff, and I'm sitting here on a fucking bus. I have to remember that I say it all the time. Trust me, I'm human. I would love to do that stuff. But at the same time, I know they're looking at my Snapchats and my Instagram saying, wow, I would love to do that for a living. And that's what keeps me going sometimes. And obviously, I was terrible at school. So my thing was, I'm going to be good at baseball so I never have to go back to school. I don't have to worry about getting a freaking degree. Shout out to everybody that has a degree and that went to school and works those jobs. But that's what keeps me going. And then I'm 24, right? And my parents got married at like 28, 29. So my family life is coming very soon, right? And that's another thing. I want to be able to be like the best provider. And obviously baseball pays really well. And I know that my kids and my wife and will have it's what my dad did to me. I have a better life than my dad. Now I want my kids to have a better life than I do, right? And I never thought about it that way. And now we're getting close to it, and that's how I'm starting to think of life a little bit. But that whole I'm lucky and like so honored to be a professional athlete where my buddies that get to go do those fun things in the river and all that stuff, like it's mutual. They would love to go play baseball, and I would love to go to fucking Stagecoach. You know what I mean? I know fucking Twan's at Stagecoach every goddamn year.
Well, did you have like when that realization when you got the call? Like, when, was it in college that you were
junior year, college, 2017,
and that to where like? Did you have like say like a blind sense of like, oh fuck, like I made it, like did you have any kind of time that like you wanted to say fuck around and like at least like try to
I mean it's been installed in me since I first started playing baseball, where it was always work before play. No matter like the amount of Friday night football games I missed because me and my dad were hitting or working on something that I missed out on a lot, and I'm not bitching about that. Right. So it never was like, oh, now I got to go play more baseball. It was never that. It was always like, I was just always so stoked to be able to go do it. And that's what we talked about earlier. Like, that's why I embrace the 12-hour trips. That's why I embrace getting paid. I think if you broke it down in minimum wage terms, it would be like $6 an hour, and we're at a field for 10 hours a day. Right. So it's like, where else would I want to be? You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what keeps me going, bro. Like, just all day, every day. Like,
fuck, the way you break it down like that. The golfer, fuck Brent, he's probably making way less than that. Fucking, did you say $6 an hour? Fucking,
bro, and he has to pay for his travel, all his entrance fees, like especially getting to the Corn Ferry, the Q schools, and the admission fees for all those little tournaments and stuff like that. I mean, before you get a sponsorship with like, because he's got Strixon and whoever else, but in Adidas, I think you're paying for all your own shit.
Well, and like you said, the fact that like the organization still helps out and whatnot, but like it's still coming out and you're still paying for it in some way, shape, or form, to where it's not all just handed to you, to where people think, oh, 100%. You're a big league, you fucking professional athlete, it's taken care of. The fucking manager's gonna do this for you. Or whatever.
I have one deal, and it's Wilson, and I get 2 stock gloves a year. That's it. And I don't have a New Balance deal. I don't have any of that stuff, but my agent is awesome enough that he pays for it, but I had to pay him when I got drafted, so technically I'm buying my own stuff, to where I still have to buy my gear and all that stuff. So it's like the big leaguers, on the other hand, they come home from a road trip and Nike's got 50 boxes in their locker because they're on TV and all that stuff. But I mean, I think the only thing that's different with baseball and golf is they pay for our room and board in spring training, they pay for our flights, they pay for gas money, like, but at the same time we're losing something somewhere in the sacrifice. So
fucking your mental stability, just fucking 140 games, just, I mean, it's
hard,
load
dude.
on you, dude. Fuck, I mean, just let alone on your body. I mean, just to be able to.
I'm lucky enough. I'm a starter, so I only have to play every 5th day. But
what is that, like 20 games, 25?
That's if I were to make every start in 140 games, I think I would have like 28 starts, or 30 or something like that.
Okay.
But you don't really make every start sometimes because I deal with like blisters or I mean, let's see, how many starts have I actually even rain delays or rain outs, right? Like I still lose some games every once in a while. But dude, it's so hard. Like that schedule is so hard. But like I said, it all comes back into play how much you love that game, because what else would you rather be doing? Like that's literally what I ask myself when I'm kind of, fuck, why am I here? You know what I mean? It's still, what else would you rather be doing, dude? Like get out there, go put your work in, like, and get after it. The hardest part is the heat, dude, in the summer, bro. And I'm a sweater. I sweat, and especially when we're dealing with humidity and stuff, bro. Like that shit sucks.
Swamp ass.
Oh, dude, I powder my shit.
Do you ever head like into the innings, like head to the bathroom just to clean yourself up real quick?
When I'm in Florida, I have to bring
Christ, dude, Florida weather.
Dude, I go through.
He's in the swamps for sure.
I've figured it out, but I was dumb, and I used to wear undershirts when I pitched, and I would have to bring out 3 or 4 different shirts in Florida because I could literally, even after my warm up, I wring out my shirt and it's soaked.
Jesus.
So I just said, fuck it, I don't wear an undershirt anymore.
Yeah.
But dude, I had a catcher.
Like Mike Napoli out there.
Dude, yeah. I button that shit.
Fucking halfway down, chain, fucking.
No chain, because that shit fucking smacks me in the face all the time. But I had a catcher who brought out 2 different pairs of gear, 3 different pairs of cleats, like 2 pairs of pants, 2 jerseys. They had to make him the same jersey because he sweats so goddamn much. And I'll never forget, he's catching me and he comes out to me and I hear like squish, 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 squish. And I was like, it's not raining. Like, and I look down, he's got bubbles coming out of his cleats from how much he's sweating. Dude, it's fucking miserable.
Fuck.
Dude.
I mean,
But
that's why the heat and the humidity, dude. I mean, is that, like you said, that's probably the worst
I think that's
experience.
the worst part of playing. Like, I mean, even when I'm in the South in Chattanooga, it's still brutal, right? That's why I feel like the Angels or Dodgers and A's and Giants and Padres so lucky to play summer baseball in California, because anywhere else, dude. Whew.
Yeah. Well, I had a buddy, Drew Madrigal. Do you know Andrew Madrigal?
Does he have a little brother?
I don't know if he might actually have a little brother. But what's it called? He played. He got drafted by the Padres.
Okay.
And yeah, to where definitely whatever team definitely can change your experience to where
Dude,
the location. I mean, obviously the Padres as an organization, they don't have the best fucking record or fucking.
It's getting there. I'll tell you that they're about to be the Astros, bro, where they couldn't win forever, and now I know they cheat. Fuck the Astros, but like they came from nothing, and that's where the Padres are going. Mark my words.
You think the Padres the next?
Yeah.
Within the next how many years before they? Do you think they'll be in the playoffs?
3 years.
Well, they have a really young team, and then their farm system.
Their farm system is stacked.
It's stacked.
Dude, it's funny. My grandparents. When you said host family earlier, my grandparents, they live in Bear Creek. We're a host family for
The Storm.
Yeah, for the Storm.
Nice.
They for Chase Headley and and Nick Hundley. Yeah, they
Chase
both.
Headley?
Yeah, they both were at. They both were Padres and both got pulled up.
Hundley catches my bullpen sometimes. Bro,
Does he really?
in San Diego.
dude, fucking tell Nick I say
No
what's up.
shit.
Because yeah, we would have Sunday dinners with him, but him and Chase every week. Fucking, we would go to baseball games and whatnot, and when they got pulled up, we'd go to Padres games all the time and shit. And
dude, Hundley got traded to the Giants, and Headley is Yankee. No,
he came back to the Padres, and then I think he got let go though when they signed. Who was it, Machado or
Manny Machado?
Yeah, when they signed Machado because he was third base. That was his position. So
but now Machado wants to play fucking shortstop.
Oh really?
Does he? Oh yeah, he wants to go to a team to play short.
Well, and I mean, Chase was a little bit. I mean, I think he's been in for like at least 10 years or so. So that's why he hadn't really bounced. He went from the Padres to the Yankees and back to the Padres, where Nick had been bouncing around a little bit more, to where I can imagine that would be taxing too. I mean, going multiple teams and fucking.
Because like, especially when they're older like that, you got family.
Mm-hmm. You got kids and fucking.
Hey guys, pack up the shit. We're moving to fucking New York. Let's go.
Jesus, that must be brutal.
Mid season, like for me, I pack up a duffel bag, I get in my truck, and I go. With them, they got a house,
Yeah,
they
wife,
got kids, they got
fucking
2 cars, they got all this, and now they got a midnight, dude. Literally at midnight, you'll get traded, and you have to go to the next.
You got to be there for the next game.
Yeah, bro. That shit is nuts, dude. Nuts. But
Professional sports are just nuts in general, to be honest with you. Like all professional sports, football, baseball, basketball, like all these things, like what is it, like less than 1% like make it into the MLB?
Yeah,
like,
there's stats out there that are scared. I try not to look at those.
Right, you shouldn't, because it's like if you look at those, you're just gonna lose all confidence in the game and in your ability to make it. So it's like it's like the faith has got to drive you, that drive.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's my thing. Whenever I start doubting that I can't make it, I need to stop. I need to quit. So I've never thought it. Obviously I'm human.
Yeah.
So after a bad game, I'm like, I'm getting released tomorrow, right? But you're there for a reason. You're good enough because you're pitching for the Cincinnati Reds AA team on 4th. Like, you're good enough, dude. Like, ride it out and be better. Like, grind harder. It's just it's that easy. But like I said earlier, like it all comes back to this: the guys that don't have the love for it, when they do suck, it's all right. Like, not fuck, dude. I got to be better. I got to keep working. It's just like, oh, I sucked. It's all good.
Yeah, it's easier for them to pull out in those situations.
For sure.
I mean, and you definitely are able to keep pursuing and striving harder, and it just seems it's just more natural for you to where, like you said, your dad, you lived it, and from your dad instilling it from how he worked, and just, I mean, as a regular 9-to-5 job, obviously not 9 to 5, but fucking 10 to 10 or something fucking even worse than that. But you're able to bring that into your own lifestyle and how
I know I wouldn't want to show my face around town if I knew if I fucking hung it up one day because I wasn't good enough or something like that. Like, I want to go out because one, my body broke on me or something like that, or I got to the highest level and it just one day they took the uniform away from me and it was time. Those are the only 2 ways I want to go out. I never want to go out because I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? That's also what keeps me going. The second that I don't want to do it, I need to stop because I'm taking an opportunity away from somebody else who loves it more than I do, and I'm hurting my family because I'm away from them and doing all that stuff. So that's just it, man. The second I ever think like that, I got to hang it up, which thankfully has never come across my mind. So
not anytime soon.
No, never, bro.
Unfortunately, with sports, it definitely is a constant because your body will break down at some point to where.
It will.
What's the average age for like a professional?
It's actually pretty long, so that's the good part. I mean, you see guys make it 39, 40 plus for sure. But pitchers, I mean, the oldest pitcher, Greg Maddux, I would say, like,
he was like 42 or 43.
I mean, he was one of the older ones to do it and make it successful in the game. But what would you say the average?
35?
35, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as like Tommy John's, are there like things that
dude,
really tax on you? Have you
Nope.
had any kind of
don't
like?
Want to talk about
it.
Hey, all right. Knock on wood. Yeah, fucking shouldn't even say it.
Ryan Lillie doesn't get that.
Yeah, no,
dude.
But
it's also another thing of being a ball player, right? Is not only performing but being a man and taking care of your body, taking care of your lift, taking care of your diet. Obviously, quarantine. But I still take care of it. Still do what I need to do that I know is going to get me ready. There's guys that it's that Sunday day game in Florida. It's 120,000 degrees. It's 100% humidity. You just pitched the day before. Are you going to go get a flush run in the morning? Or are you just going to be like, you know what? Well, I'll miss today.
What's a flush?
Flush run?
Like when your arm's tired and you go for that long-ass run and you get your blood flowing. And
okay.
Just a flush. Just flush out your shit in your arm.
Get the lactic acid out.
Yeah, exactly. And
like, you ever do like those cuppings? Like the...
Oh, yeah, dude. My favorite thing on my arm is scraping. So
like
I love that.
Let me tell you, bro, when you're sore, the worst thing for me is when I get sore on my bicep right here and they're going on it, and when you're super sore and tight, you can hear it crushing all the stuff up in there. Like, you can hear it like literally scraping in your body, and it kills me, but I feel so good. Dude, we got good trainers that take care of you really well. And then what I do the cupping for is on my shoulder blade and like on the back of my shoulder, because I'll get sore there and I don't feel like a scrape does a good enough job back there. And then a lot of manual stuff. Like, dude, for some reason, all our trainers have the strongest thumbs in the world, bro. And they get in there, and you walk out feeling like $1 million.
Really?
And then I'm old school. I like the cold tub and contrast and stuff like that. That's my go-to. And a couple beers the night before kind of washes away everything a little bit.
Loosen it up.
I was gonna say, is that Theragun probably pretty good for as far as
yeah.
Do any guys on your team ever have anything like that, or
So our
specific,
teams buy all of it. So we have like 4 or 5 Theraguns in a clubhouse, and I'll only really use that for activation, never for really like recovery. But before I start, when I'm getting ready, I'm in the weight room and I'll blast it up a little bit, get the blood flowing. But like I said, I'll stick to the cupping, the scraping, and just manual work for recovery. So I feel like that's really just getting in there. So that's my go-to, man. They do great jobs on us. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. I mean, as far as how much we've advanced, as far as being able to know like what you can do to maximize your body's performance, to be able to get the most output you can and perform your best to your ability, to where where does that threshold almost come to a point to where like to a steroids point to where like obviously that's a whole nother level, but like to where almost to like the Astros and the cheating, and to where when you bring technology and like at some point, like there's always going to be your players are always going to try stealing signs if you can visibly see fucking the base coach like
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Exactly, to where like at what point, like obviously when you bring technology in to help you cheat and bring in signs, that seems like a obvious point. Just like the steroids to helping your body's performance. Like it seems like at some point, is there any baseball players that have ever had like prosthetic limbs or anything that have ever like?
No, but there's
Amputated, but
Jim Abbott had one arm, and he had the nub on his right arm, which would have been his glove hand. So what he does is he holds the glove on his nub and threw with his left hand. The second he let go, he would grab the glove off and put it on his other hand.
Because he was
So he got a righty's glove, and so he would put it on his nub. He'd throw, grabbed his glove, and got ready to field. And the craziest part about that, he got a gold glove, which is the award for the best defense for that position. He got a gold glove with one arm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean, with all the technology stuff is we have such great minds in a clubhouse, and our trainers and our nutritionists and all this stuff that they do all the research for you. And then it's up to you to play and find what works for you best and run with it. So as long as you do your research, I feel like that's the most you can get out of it. A crazy stat, I don't know if you know this, LeBron James spends over $2 million alone on his body a year.
just on nutrition,
Trainers,
training,
food,
and
rehab, physical
massages, all that stuff.
$2 million alone on his body. It's his machine. That's what makes him that money. So
I mean, the investment he gets back on that.
Yep.
I mean, just I could imagine what just on his salary is. That's a
$2 million for his trainers and his recovery. I mean, it's unbelievable, man. Dude's a freak of nature. And you'll get it's weird because in baseball you can get away with being a little thicker, especially as a pitcher. But mostly those position guys are those nutrition and health freaks that you can learn a lot from because they're into that stuff, and just learning, being open to learning with different types of techniques and ways of recovery and activation and all this stuff. You're only hurting yourself if you don't look for that stuff and don't care about it. So the information is there.
yeah.
You just got to take it now.
And like how you said, you were with the laptop always breaking down batters and whatnot to be able to figure out the best pitch for each player. I mean, are other positions like outfielders, how in depth do they go as far as doing that kind of background?
They got spray charts. Spray charts. So a lefty could pull righties. So if I'm a righty, he likes to pull off of right-handed hitters. So they'll put together those stats, like the fielding coach will do that. And they'll have, I don't know if you've ever seen guys like with things in their pocket and they pull it out and they're like, okay, who's hitting? Trout, who's pitching? Righty. okay, we're gonna shade over here a little bit. So like they have cheat sheets
Really?
on every hitter.
I feel like
How
I
do-
would have seen that.
Have you seen all
but,
the
like,
shifts in baseball?
Yeah, I
How
mean,
do you
see
think
them-
that happens?
I thought it was just communication of like,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
just
what-
like in fucking like high school
No,
and like
correct.
when you're yelling out to the players,
How
but
do
like
how do they know where to go?
the coaches,
All the research that the guys do. And then it's like I said, the information is there, and it's a little more leeway with position players, the coaches being able to tell them where to go. But the guys that like center fielders usually are the captains of the field. So if Trout sees something, he'll push his left fielder that way, and he'll bring the right fielder with him, or he'll say, hey, we're going to come in a little bit, back up. Like so, the guys that care about it are usually the main positions: shortstop, center field, catcher. And then the coaches are kind of there as a safety net, but it's up to you to do your homework because there's always homework to be done. You know what I mean? So,
and do you think they'll ever incorporate? Because like you said, you have the cheat sheet. Like, do you think they'll ever? Because in football, you have the earpiece in the quarterback's headset, to where I only found out recently. I always thought that they had that fucking thing going live the entire time, so they had constant communication. But they shut it off the last 15 seconds of the play clock.
Yep.
To where then it's just them and on the field. To where
college tried it with their catchers and their masks. The coaches talking in to relay pitches. I think that's as far as it's gone with in regards to microphones and stuff like that. But I'm gonna venture to say that microphone usage is gonna be way down and either banned based off of what just happened with the Astros. But I mean, it's smart. It's really smart, but it also just takes away from the own authentic feel of a game, right?
yeah, if you have a headset in and you're trying to listen to what your coach is saying, and next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, this guy's fucking stealing. Fuck, I didn't even pay attention. You know, like
It's called baseball IQ. You talk about who's got super high IQ in baseball, right? Those are guys that are really good at paying attention to say, hey, I feel like this guy is a little quick today, so he's pulling everything. Like the only way you can know that is from watching and paying attention to what is going on all around you. So I feel like that would take away from the authenticity of feeling out a game for yourself. So I don't know how I feel about all the analytics stuff, because my thing with all of it is, okay, this guy has great spin rate, his numbers are unreal, but when it comes down to it, can this guy compete his nuts off and make a pitch when he has to make a pitch? You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell that from paper. You can only get that from the authentic feel of what is going on in between the lines.
Yeah.
So
Smart.
I hope guys are smart enough that the nerds don't take over baseball, because there's an authenticity to baseball that should never be lost.
What about the strike zone and umpires? What about, like, what's your take on that? Like, of maybe like one day switching that and not having that air anymore?
See, I think
Is that authentic? Because
Yes.
obviously you play baseball, you know that's if the first base umpire misses a call, calls it out instead of safe, or safe instead of
do about
out.
it.
That's part of the game. And like sometimes it's like that's just how you should play the game. That's like what's fun about baseball. Sometimes it's authentic, but like
there's
if you
that
took-
human nature, that human
Yes.
element that
The
can
human
fuck with
But
things.
then there's
to
like that
where-
one guy that lost a perfect game because of that
Jim Abbott, or,
non-Detroit Tigers. I forget his name. You may not know, but anyways, he lost a perfect game on the last out of the play. It was the ninth inning, 2 outs. The guy was clearly out, but he called it safe, and the guy lost a perfect game. And it's like if there was computers or whatever, maybe that would have been an
they
easy
knew it was in the
call.
strike zone or something.
Oh yeah,
or-
like usually, like obviously, like when you watch baseball, they have a strike on the monitor, so it's like, should they just have that at all times, calling balls and strikes, and have it perfect to each?
I mean, I was saying, just like I was saying, guys throwing a low pitch to where they're trying to like sneak it back up in the strike
That's an
zone
art.
to where
That's
it's
an art form.
That's
to
an
where
art.
I mean
love that.
to be able. I was watching, dude. I watched like a 10-minute video of guys
frame
fucking
job?
dude.
So
that love
if you
that.
want to see some good shit on that, JT Real Muto.
Pull that up, Jamie. Just kidding. No, JT Murulto. How do you,
Well, there's a
Real-
lot of
real-
social media like guys that are like they're catching coaches, and they'll like break it down like the science of just like
It's an
working
art,
down
bro.
to
It's
up.
an art form. Like
It
that's what makes a catcher valuable, is how well it's called stealing strikes, right? So if it's a ball, but the way he presents his glove and goes and gets it, and by the time he's done catching it, he moved a ball that much, right? That's the art of baseball. That's what guys work on every single day as catchers, is stealing strikes, right? And like being able to form a relationship with an umpire. So maybe that one time that you need that call. He likes you a lot because you're a respect. He'll give you that call.
I'm not an asshole. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm not trying to steal fucking.
Oh, but you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to do it the right way, though.
And that's why. I mean, you're not trying to pay off your politicians, but at the same time, you want to be on everybody's good graces to where if you fucking step in shit, they're at least gonna be willing to help you. Fucking.
It's a double-edged sword, right? So as a pitcher, if you get that automated strike zone, okay, and you throw a pitch that crosses the strike zone by that much, right? Mm-hmm. If there was no automated zone, the chances of that being called a ball is very high. So you would get rewarded of, wow, that didn't look like a ball, but it hit the strike zone, so I got that strike. Mm-hmm. But for the hitters, right, like, or on the other side, what if I get that call that's that far off the plate for a strike 3 in a big situation, right? That goes away with that automated strike zone. So there's always the win, I guess a win-win or a lose-lose. I don't know, but I hope the nerds don't take over baseball.
It just changes the whole game, and that's why it changes to where if it's just not the same. It's not the same game to where obviously games evolve and change over time, but.
I mean, they juiced the baseballs. Mm-hmm. I mean, for home runs,
and that's why. Obviously, if it's a matter of changing the schedule of having less games to be able to have more value, and all right, this game's worth a lot because it's fucking.
That's what makes baseball, bro.
Like the long
seasons? Grind, and who's gonna be the team to come out at the end after putting in 162 games of grind? Like, I think baseball shouldn't be touched. Like. There's some things where instead of having to throw 4 pitches for the intentional walk, you just go, hey, 4, and he goes to first base.
You're just fucking
That's fine.
This guy. Yeah,
that's fine. They have a shot clock in baseball now. 15 seconds in between pitches to throw. What if my game is speeding up on me so fast, and it's the 7th inning, bases loaded, I have a 1-run lead, and I need to get out of this inning, and the only way for me to do that is to slow it down. Now I have a shot clock on me, and now I'm not going to be able to perform to the best of my ability. So that's something that I get. They're trying to speed it up, but at the same time, it hurts some people. But I mean, if you're a viewer and you don't like baseball or you think it's too slow, don't watch.
And that's why for them to try to either change, like make it less innings or less of a season, I don't think that's the answer. I mean. Do you think it would be like a change in the equipment, like having
I mean, they already did try to change the equipment with the baseball, and all the pitchers fucking hated it because they're now the balls. This guy is getting lucky and got the sweet spot, but it was a great pitch. He took a shit swing, but the ball is so juiced that it goes out, and now your all-star bid is gone because of what MLB did to the baseball. You did what you had to do. You performed how you were supposed to, and you got fucked because of the equipment just to make fans happy. Mm-hmm. That's bullshit. Like, you're there to provide a living for your family, right? Now that's taken off of the table.
Just so we have more home runs. So
fans can like it more.
Yeah, we got a higher score game. No, it takes away from what the game is and how it's played.
Would you guys rather watch a Game 7 World Series where it's 0-0, extra innings, each team is fighting for just something, or would you rather have a Game 7 World Series of 14 to 10? You know what I mean? I think that such fine misses in baseball where you have to be perfect, and it's who's gonna fuck up first, and it's not just home run, strikeout, home run. Mm-hmm. Ooh, fans are happy. Like, there's something to a freaking well-played baseball game, not slugfest. You go play video games for that shit. Mm-hmm. You don't take that to the real thing, man. It's just.
I mean, I keep harping on how it's similar to golf, to where it's like, fuck, you're grinding over 4 days to be able to try to get yourself in a position to where you're able to
be in contention.
Keep yourself in contention to where, I mean, U.S. Opens are usually like less than fucking 10 under, to where they're fucking like you're barely trying to break par, or stay even par, to where it's hard for them to even like when people are like, oh, it's so easy that you have there's nothing going on, the ball's not moving and everything. I mean, or like in baseball, like, oh, it's so easy because you're not running around or moving super fast pace. But there's so many things that people don't understand, that when they don't, obviously it's hard to understand what it is to be a professional athlete.
Right.
But to understand, just to empathize what they're going through, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
To where then like, fuck, we're gonna change how you do your job just because I want to be able to enjoy it, like where I have no idea how the game's even played. You know, it's
Like I didn't they have golfers bitch at the USGA, I think, about how easy Pebble Beach was at the Open the other year. Like they're literally saying make it harder. Like we don't care if the fans want to see 20 under. Like this is the Open because the rough is going to be 10 times thicker. The fairways are going to be so small. The greens are running hella fast. Like that's what makes the Open is the challenge. They don't care. The players probably don't care. Oh, you guys made it easier for us, so the fans are happier. It just takes away, like, my favorite word, I guess, now is the authenticity of the sport itself. Like, stop trying to change what's not broken, fix what's not broken. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the old school saying, and I'm an old school guy when it comes to sports. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they're gonna make changes. It's
inevitable.
It's inevitable, and obviously, I mean, I hate to kind of bring it on with what's going on with topics right now, but with like police brutality and everything, obviously there are things that go on in everything, whether it be professional sports, politics, police, and whatnot. There's always going to be imperfections that are going to diminish the end-all product, but in the end-all, the system of it is pure enough to be able to, when people are saying either to defund the police or fucking let's make the baseball lighter or something like that, it's they don't know the ramifications that really are going to be going later on. Like you said, it's going to change it being a fucking high stakes final game 7, fucking in overtime, 0 fucking 1-1, fucking all on the line versus 14 to 7, and it's like, oh, this is a fucking blowout or whatever the case may be, to where it's, I mean, it's almost, to go back to the police thing, I mean, if you were to go with the automated strike zone, if we were to be so automated and black and white with police, that's such a hard thing to make that decision too, because then you take out that human element of like, oh, fuck, like he's a nice guy. He really means well, but fuck it. You mean it's a clear decision on, oh, well, he's drunk, he's fucking going straight to jail. Like, when in reality, it could have been handled in such a different manner.
Like, we're all human. Like, you have to have that, like you said, the human instinct to judge a situation. That's what I'm sure makes the good cop versus a bad cop, because there's bad cops out there and there's really good cops out there. It's just all about that, how they deal with situations in the moment, like pure from the heart. You know what I mean? Like,
just like an umpire. I mean, fuck. I mean, how many times have you been screwed over by an umpire when it's like, at no fault of their, like, obviously it's their fault because they made the bad call, but it's just the all the elements that are going on. Like, yeah, like they made the bad call, but there's so many other things that, like, he might have been having a bad day. He's making bad calls on everybody.
His wife probably made him sleep on the couch the night before, and now he's fucking pissed off. Yeah, dude, I have this all the time. Like, I get pissed off when I'm competing. Like, that's just, it's natural. So, our guy Louie, I had Louie a lot in the Florida State League. Okay, we got into it a shit ton of times because
this guy's an umpire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had some really, really bad games, and I let him know about it in the moment just because I was so heated. And then when I got taken out, or my day was done, and I'm walking back into the clubhouse to go work on my arm and stuff like that, in that matter of time when I'm relaxed again, I'm like, hey, man, this guy's fucking human. You know what I mean? So I'd always walk by, tap him on the ass, and be like, Louie, hey, my bad. I'll see you next time. Like, don't worry about it. Sorry for showing you up like that, right? It's just because I know in my heart that we're human and we make mistakes, and I'm sure there's an X factor in his life that led to a shitty call. You know what I mean? Like,
let alone if he didn't have the angle to see it, you know, to where there's so many things that you can fester on that can weigh you down to where you end up saying, fuck it, I'm going to end my baseball season or my career because so many things are just
100%
going so wrong. And
I mean, it's go ahead.
Oh, so, no, go.
It's the same thing when fans that don't see anything past the surface other than a pitcher that got fucking shelled in his outing, like totally pissed on. And then they go, fuck you, you need to get traded, you fucking suck, you do. but they have no idea that it's start number 22 for this fucking guy. His arm is hanging on the ground. He knows he has to go
12-hour bus ride.
He has to go out there and compete, but he just didn't have his shit. It's not like he's trying to do that, but people are so quick to judge that person for his athletic ability or his athletic performance that they don't take into consideration that this dude has to go back to his family with his little kid who's tucked in bed because he gets home at 11. He couldn't take him or her to bed. His wife's like could have had a bad day, so now he's got to come home and sit on his shit performance when he's been struggling with something that has nothing to do with baseball that altered his performance. But people are so quick to fucking the Twitter trolls, man, just roast people. Every time, man, I'll look at it every once in a while. Like if some account will tweet about something good or bad, I'll read the comments and stuff like that. And some of the shit, dude, is so far out to lunch. It's not even funny. But at the same time, I'm like, this fucking cheeseburger eating fuck sitting greasing over his fucking keyboard has no idea that I've shoved my last 6 starts. I'm grinding. I might have slept like shit on that bus, and I fucking had a bad day. My arm feels like shit, and he doesn't know that. So I'll laugh about it. But it's like people are so quick to judge just based off of surface shit that they don't know what's deeper than that. And it's part of the game, and you just got to learn how to deal with it and not fuck with it too much. But that needs to change, man. People need to realize that we're all human first. I'm Ryan Lillie that plays baseball, not a baseball player named Ryan. You know what I mean? Like it's not my life. My life is being a good human, a good son, a good brother, a good husband, good whatever it is. That comes first always, and they always lose sight of that we're fucking people too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I saw an interview with Lil Wayne when they were like, who is Lil Wayne? Like, who are you trying to portray? And he's like, I'm fucking Dwayne Carter. You know,
Yeah.
I'm me. Like, I'm not trying to fucking be anything more than I am. You know, obviously, like, I might seem crazy or do some fucking crazy shit.
But
that's them. You know, that's authentically them,
Right.
and that's why I love this. Like, people are like, oh, well, why? Like, do you have like questions or anything for this whole podcast? Like, and like, I'm not trying to make it super like too inorganic to where it's
Oh, for
a
sure.
pile of shit, but at the same time, it's just trying to be here shooting the shit and just.
I think that's why I love Rogan so much, bro. I'm sure he's got a little script, but my thing with Rogan, dude, is it's so pure. Like, motherfucker lights up a little joint, sits there, and has one of the most genius man in the planet right now, Elon Musk, sitting across the table, and he's smart enough and genuine enough and pure enough to have a conversation with him for 3 hours based off stuff that Rogan has no business talking about, but yet he's so authentic and so pure that he can do that. And that's why, like, dude, what time is it, bro? I don't even know how long we've been fucking doing. Like, this is almost 2 hours now. Yeah. And it's like, dude,
Well,
it's organic.
And that's where I'm not. I mean, I try to. Obviously, you idolize like when coming up in baseball. Like who are you trying to like when you were like
Jared
batting?
Weaver.
Jared Weaver.
Yep.
He was your.
That was my guy.
Me and Brett watched his last game. He was
With the Padres.
We watched him get fucking pulled out.
Dinger.
Yeah, we watched him get
When he was
pulled
with
out.
the Halos?
Yeah.
Sorry, when he was with the Halos, my God, he like the beginning years with the Halos, he was
Dude,
raw.
and my favorite thing about him, bro, is his competitiveness. And obviously, I can go old school and say
And his
Nolan
hair.
Ryan, right? But Weave was my guy, dude. He fucking competed. He
He
wasn't
had a brother too, right?
Yeah, Jeff pitched
Wait.
for the Dodgers in St. Louis.
But that's to your point. Jared Weaver is a great point of like he's a fucking person because towards the end of his career, he got a lot of shit. Just people, this guy's not cut out for MLB anymore. They need to get him off the mound. Like at the end of the day, dude, like these people are just humans. Like, and they get all that like chirp. Dude, that must be a fucking grind to hear. Like, all that.
His body broke down on him. He went from throwing 96 to 86.
88, or 86.
Yeah.
Damn.
But he was your inspiration as far as.
Oh
like,
yeah, like just because that when he was with the Angels is when I was getting old enough in baseball to realize that I had a passion for it and I loved it, so I started watching it more and getting into it and like actually watching the game of baseball. And Weave was who was on the TV for me watching and growing up watching baseball. Like that was, and then when I got to realize what a competitor was and I got to realize what that drive looked like and skill and all this stuff, like that was the guy that I saw on TV. And my favorite number growing up was 27. And people are like, why 27, Mike Trout? I go, fuck no, Vladimir Guerrero. Vladdy fucking Guerrero, dude. That guy was dude, he fucking tuck his pants into his cleats, and I tried to do that when I was growing up playing
Really?
baseball. I was like, I emulated that guy, dude, when I was a position player, but Weave is my dude. And that fucker, I try to tweet him. He's a big, like, throw shots on Twitter kind of guy. Like,
now he's not playing. He's all on social media and everything.
He'll reply to people and stuff like that, and he plays golf too. And I've tried to tweet him a bunch of times, and he hasn't fucking gotten back to me yet. So
we'll get him out on the podcast. We'll play golf with him.
Bro.
We'll
Come to Bear.
Yeah.
Bear.
Well, dude, we got fucking Landis. He was a member there. Is he not still?
Tyler?
Trout's agent.
Trout's agent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a member there at the golf course.
yeah.
Craig?
I played with his kid.
Tyler.
Tyler,
Yeah.
On a Bronco Angels, I think. So
Yeah. What? He's Trout's agent, right?
Yeah, he's Trout's agent. I mean, if he were to have any connections, that would probably might be the.
dude, imagine Trout walking up to fucking Bear Creek, dude.
I've always, like, out of all the people that I've tried to, like, get out to play there, that was one that, like, obviously Craig coming out. Landis, I had only seen him play golf maybe, like, out of the 8 years I worked there, probably, like, 4 times ever on the golf course. And he never, like, played full rounds.
Yeah, dude.
But Trout, I tried to always wanted him to get out.
Because, dude, and on an off day when he's in Anaheim,
Easy drive.
tweet his ass.
So wait, real quick, how'd you get what's your start in golf? Like, you're a big golfer now. Let's talk about that.
My dad played in college. So growing up, I'd always come home on Sundays, and he would be watching golf, and he would talk about this, like, Tiger Woods guy, and, like, I'd see this guy in red, and I didn't understand what that was, and he never wanted me to play golf growing up because he thought it would affect my baseball swing.
Yeah, it would take away from
And I thought it was the worst sport. I thought it was boring. I never understood it. And then growing up, like, you saw that pitcher's golf, and golf is accessible a lot of places. And
it's kind of one of the only sports you can play as an adult that, like, outside of, like, a softball league.
Right.
I mean, you're still going to get fucked up playing a rec softball league, even if it's a drinking league. But, like, golf, you can at least still go out, enjoy yourself, and be active.
So, like,
keep it a sport. But
when I realized I had an off season now of 5 months, I was like, I want to do something that's still going to get my competitive juices flowing, something that has to require skill and athleticism, and something that I could work on. And I thought I would walk out there and kill it. And I never, when I struggled for the first time, I was hooked, because now I'm like, I have something to be better at. And I'm a psychopath, dude. Like, I will work at it every single day. Dude, I study. I have so many fucking videos of me golfing in here just to break down, watch thousands of times, watch video, watch
Tiger Woods YouTube videos and shit.
Like, anything I can get my hands on, because that's how my mind works, right? And when I slowly started to see how fast I went from so shitty to shitty. Once that happened, I got more hooked. And then when I went from shitty to okay, I was like, fuck, dude, this is amazing. Like, you go out there Friday and shoot a fucking 75, and then with the same swing, go out there the next day and shoot an 87.
Yeah,
and it's like, it always keeps you working. Like, it'll never let you beat that game. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with baseball. I could go out on Friday, shove for 7 innings, have the best shit, and my next start be the worst start of my life. And it always keeps it turning. So, like, to answer your question, like, my dad golfed. I was around golf. I knew I was athletic enough to try it and work at it. And then once that I realized that I could hang a little bit, I lost it.
Yeah.
I got bit by the
You
golf.
got the itch.
Everybody,
You got the
it's
itch
really addicting, dude. Everybody that plays it. Rogan actually talked about it a few times where he's
Joe
like,
Rogan?
He's never golf. He's like I'm scared. I'm scared to golf because he's like, I know that I will be fucking, just like archery and all this other shit. I will be fucking hooked and be on the golf course every fucking day.
Dude.
To where
It's an expensive sport, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I know when you got the itch. I just saw like 2 off seasons ago, or maybe 3.
Dude,
you were just like,
dude, let me show you.
even I mean, I see you every weekend. I feel every time
dude,
on social media.
So I'm dealing with a little wrist thing right now. I don't think it's a hamate bone, but I was playing in where did I go? Palm Desert at the PJ West, and I had this shot that was like a 215-yard shot. I was in the rough, and it was thick as shit, and I went after it pretty fucking hard, and I got stuck a little bit, and I felt something weird, so I'm taking a little break. But when I'm healthy, I mean, I'm hitting 5 days a week playing fucking every weekend, like, and especially when I worked at Bear Creek, dude, I would get done and go straight to ask Kim to let me go to the range, or Tim, probably Tim.
Don't even go.
That was all of us. Like, honestly, when I started golfing at Bear Creek, like, once I found out, I was like, well, same thing. Like, I could golf,
You
and
can
then
make
I was
contact
like,
and get the ball to go forward.
well,
and
then
airborne,
when I was like, when I went from
like,
shitty or so shitty to shitty, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Get drunk with the boys at a
See, and I don't like to lose or not be good at something.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got beat at golf, bad.
Like when Shad beat you.
Like when Shad Soto, who I will fucking crush Shad Soto at golf, that, like, put this fire in me where I was like, I'm not going to let that happen again. And that's
Well, didn't you say, like, you gave him $20 and you're like, don't tell anyone about this?
He beat
And now
me,
we're talking about it on the podcast.
He beat me so bad that I didn't want him to tell a fucking soul.
He told me that.
What?
He's like, dude, I beat Lily. He told me not to tell anybody.
Oh my, were at Bear or?
Dude, this was
like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
though.
and this makes me laugh because I thought I could go to Bear Creek because it was a golf course and play good golf.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Fucking week.
I think I was like 220 yards off the tee box. I hit my irons like 15 yards shorter than I hit them now. I had no idea that opening a club face on a lob wedge would make the ball go high, closing it down. Like, I didn't know anything, and I thought I could go to fucking Bear Creek and beat Shad, who had been playing longer than I had.
That's his home course, you know. You're not just walking on to.
I mean, Shad started like him though. Shad started just.
We've all got that start. Everybody kind of gets
so
that start where you just get thrown into it.
The first day that I picked up golf, I went straight to the range with my dad's clubs, my dad's shoes,
The MV range.
And I said, record my first swing. So.
Oh, dude, you should see my first swing. I'll send it to you.
Gosh, I think I don't have mine.
Where's
thank
it at?
God. I mean, it's probably out there somewhere in the ethers of the internet.
You should put this on the podcast.
Yeah, well, this will be in
Need some tips on this.
This will be in a clip on the
I
bottom
remember
left.
this swing, dude. That thing is nasty, bro. You have the swing of an 80-year-old man.
Oh
right
yeah.
here. Hold on, let me watch this again.
Dude, it makes an athletic person look so stupid.
Oh God! And that's why, like, when you see a professional golfer, like, their form is so crazy to be able to, like, how the fuck, like,
dude, okay.
I feel my body's like that, but it doesn't look like that. Like, it's fucking.
When you first started learning about, like, you know, like shelling out your swing, did it not feel like it's just like a different language? When people were like, you're watching a video of like a swing breakdown, and like you want to get to like this P1 and then get up to here and then get back to and shallow.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck is this?
I thought it was like, hit ball. Like, I never knew that.
You're probably a fader, huh? Just a
when I started off, all
Every
baseball players
player.
have a huge slice.
Yeah.
But I've gotten into the point where I was in spring training, and I was playing.
You think you beat Shad right now?
I'll beat Shad every time I play him.
Ooh, calling him out right now on the podcast.
Damn.
You're hearing this now, Shad.
I'll take Shad's money.
You haven't golfed with me though. That's the thing.
What?
Yeah, you haven't golfed with me yet. So.
Oh, dude.
What do you?
I don't
What's
wanna
your
take your
average round at Bear now? Like if you're playing
You're
for the
saying
Blues.
75 to 85. I mean, that's
not
a
at
good
Bear
win.
Creek though.
Oh.
Not at Bear Creek. Like,
that's at where is that at?
fucking
anywhere else?
TCI.
Okay.
You have a handicap?
A 6.
Wow.
But
You have a 6 handicap?
6 handicap.
Wow.
But at Bear Creek I think the best round that I shot at Bear Creek was like an 81 or an 80 or something like that. And I was after I got done working, and I if you ask Shad, he'll vouch for me, and I showed him my scorecard and everything like that. But Bear Creek is for that next level golfer.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not that, but if I go to because I'm long off the tee box, and any course that we play at out here that's not Bear Creek or Pechanga, if you're long, you're 60 yards in. And
it's a driver wedge. And
Yeah.
That's why I feel a lot of golfers. I mean, it's a whole different game now, and that's why. I mean, baseball, it's not just driver wedge. It's not fucking swing and fucking home run to where I mean, at some point, if it does get to that point, maybe they do change up. Maybe they fucking give you a softball to fucking pitch or to fucking hit at.
they're trying to move the mound back 4 feet. So
64?
64.
Really?
So that would be the next crazy, like, holy shit, got to start over and learn how to do that now.
And
Yeah.
do you like work out like obviously like you want to like do reps at a certain thing, but like to like say extend it, like are you trying to like?
So I do drills where I'll go off a mountain and it'll be I think 80 feet, 75, 80 feet, and what that does for me is I have to get a ball to ride and stay on that line and not die. I have to really get through that ball. So when my ball either sails or dies on a fastball, I know I cut it off short and something broke down, right? So when he's back there, it makes my body get into the best position possible so that when he comes back in at 60 feet, it literally is like I'm going like this and the ball is just fucking ripping through the plate. So whenever I feel like I'm getting short in here, I'll throw the catcher all the way back and I'll let it fly all the way through. So
you
that
get him all the way out to 80 feet like that?
Yep. And it's the coolest thing ever, bro, because I'm visually you can see right away if you did it right or wrong. And then once you see you did it, you might have not felt it, but you're like, I'm going to try and do what I just felt. Mm-hmm. And once you keep doing it over and over again, that's where you build that muscle memory. So then once, like I said, it's my favorite thing to do because he's 80 feet away. If I'm still throwing hard, when he comes into 60, it's like I'm flipping a coin over there and it's fucking
nothing.
It's right there. So
fuck, that's like how far is it to second base from home?
It's 100 and you would think it was like simple math, 90 and 90, so 90 and 90, but it's like 160, I think 160 feet.
So it's about like halfway from home plate, from the pitching mound to second base. It's about halfway from there. Would be.
I don't think
80
it's
feet
120. Can you look it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the math on it right now.
But yeah, because I mean, that would be crazy too to try to say like to make baseball fields bigger. You know, I mean,
dude, they're already big.
They're already big, and then all of them vary already in size. You know, to where like
the domains are a little different.
Yeah,
for sure.
to where like to get something that uniform. You know, to like all right, this is the standard. You know, the standard is already varies.
That's what plays
like,
into that. Remember we were talking about taking into consideration
the
with
wind and everything.
Like Cincinnati's ballpark is considered one of the shortest ballparks in the world. So I know that I have to not fuck up as bad as
because people are gonna fucking get some more.
If I'm pitching in Arizona, Diamondbacks, they got that 410 foot center field with the 500 foot wall that you got to hit it over. Like you have more leeway to be not as sharp at some ballparks than the other, and that's what makes it fun. Like you go to Colorado. Oh Jesus, dude! You could
the altitude. I mean,
ball flies.
Does it really?
Ball flies there, dude. Like some of my buddies that pitch in the big leagues are like, nobody likes pitching in Colorado.
127 feet.
127.
You close 120.
Yeah.
What did I say?
What have
You said like 180.
Have you had like seen or?
I think
180 to 160. Somewhere
same
there. But have you had a baseball field that you've enjoyed or had like some crazy experiences with outside of Florida or what kind of like weather?
So I mean, I got to throw a pre-draft workout at Petco.
Oh really?
So I got to pitch at Petco and faced like 10 hitters, and that was fucking. I think that was the first big league field that I've ever pitched on. But this last year in spring training, I got to pitch against the Angels opening day lineup at Tempe Diablo Stadium, which is their spring training field, and then I got to travel with the big league team to Vegas to play the Cubs for a 2-game set at the field out there, and that was bitching. But the best minor league place that I've been to, either Birmingham, the Barons, which is the White Sox AA, where MJ played his minor league ball at, and then Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, which is the Marlins AA. That stadium. Let me show you a picture, bro. I got to pitch on 4th of July there.
4th of July. It's kind of nice.
And I think the attendance that we were told was like 12,000 people. So I mean, that's just you've probably seen this before.
I've seen that. Yeah.
But just like that's
nice.
just the left field like small section.
Yeah.
That was their double decker stadium all the way around. There were people in the outfield, down the third base line. Packed. There wasn't an open seat.
Was that the biggest crowd you've
biggest crowd I've ever pitched in front of?
How was that experience?
I didn't pitch good.
Shit your pants.
He goes, I didn't pitch good.
I didn't pitch good. I think I lasted 3 innings, and it was against my old team, so that hurt even more. But I don't give a fuck because that was such a cool thing to start a baseball game on a 4th of July at a packed house like that. You know what I mean? Like I was fucking nervous as shit all day because I knew it was gonna be crazy. We heard about it because Jacksonville packs pretty big for minor league stadiums and stuff like that. But dude, I'm for sure when I have to pitch in front of no fans, it's gonna fucking suck.
I mean, that's why it's crazy to see how Brant and all these guys played this week without any fans. I mean, it's good to see how well he played.
I think before I lose my train of thought on that. I think I'm almost out, bro. You take a fucking huge dip.
Just a little pincher.
What do you want? You want a crab claw?
Oh, what?
You want a crab claw?
Oh, yeah, I can't hear.
You want a
Nope.
Dude, yeah, that cable. It's not my cable. It's a buddy of mine.
Nope.
You got to leave it and not touch it.
Dude's hammered.
I'm not hammered. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Do you want a crab claw, an eagle talon, a wampus cat, or a 5-finger grizzly bear? What you want? What you want? Crab claw.
Crab claw?
You seen that video? Yo,
That is fucking hilarious.
What the fuck is that?
Crab
I'll
claw?
show you after
Oh,
this.
Jesus.
I don't want to ruin it, so I can finish your train of thought.
Always crab claws, bro. Especially if you're taking somebody else's shit. I could go the 5-finger fucking.
I can't.
The fucking mongoose, 5-finger bear claw.
Yeah.
5-finger
I got
grizzly
bear claws
bear.
all day.
5-finger grizzly
What you
bear.
want?
I think with Brent and golfers that have to, they grew up playing golf like we play golf with nobody watching, right? So I think it's easier, like, for them to do it. And with us, we like when you get to high school, you got fans, and like it's always been a spectator thing, right? So, I feel like it would be harder for us to pitch without fans versus them to play
no fans.
versus them to play without fans.
Yeah.
So, let me see. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, and that's why it's going to be a transition for all sports, whether they shorten their seasons, whether they have no fans, or whatever the case may be. It's always going to be obviously this year with the whole coronavirus is going to be a total change on how we do things. Hopefully it's not like you said, for baseball, they don't change things entirely and make it a fucking half the season, 70 games. I mean, that would be nuts to just cut it in half, but I don't think that would ever be
I hope not.
No.
I hope not. Dude, anytime I see somebody take a dip, it makes me want to put a dip in.
No, I don't. I got fucked up gum line. I had
So
surgery.
do I.
Nah, I just can't handle it. I can't handle it.
You really do?
Yeah, I had a surgery back in the day, and then
From dipping?
No, I had a tooth. But one of the adult tooth was like grew underneath my jawline, to where like it's all like you look at my gums, it's all like exposed and shit. It's really weird. But every time I used to dip, and it would just hit me in the fucking head instantly.
I have a fat receding gum line. I'm not gonna show. I'll show it to you guys. You fucking.
When you showed me that tooth. Fuck.
Yeah, I need. That's not
when
my
you showed me
cable.
that tooth, bro. Bro.
I don't even want to know.
Bro.
I'm gonna fucking yak.
Do you remember when you had that dip in your car and you like picked me up and I was like gonna fucking puke?
Dude, I'm driving in my car, and I open up my dip.
No, you had this thing, dude. You had it like
You had a
to the
ball.
top.
I had a spitter in the car, and I'm like spitting, and Twan is literally in my car, like literally about to throw up in my back seat. Not even rolling down the window to throw up outside. He's just gonna fucking do it in my car.
Oh, dude, it was the worst. It was like one of those things where I thought about like what's in there and then just got stuck in my head. And
Couldn't get it out.
this was when you had the fucking Nissan, bro.
The Nissan,
The Nissan, the legend.
dude, the Bruce Wayne. I call it Bruce Wayne
The Bruce Wayne.
because it was a fucking Batmobile, baby,
Little
all blacked out.
Batmobile.
Dude, we go kind of way back, but not like
yeah.
too way back, but it's been a trip.
Dude, it's crazy how like I mean when I started working at the golf course, I didn't really know because I knew Brett. I've known Brett my entire life, to where when I got introduced to Shad, you, all these guys, the fucking Riley, all you guys played baseball together, to where I'm like, fuck, like it's crazy how like all you guys are intertwined. Like you guys went to high school together, but like for baseball, like playing travel, did you play travel with any of those with any of them, or
Dude,
like
I probably played
were you on
against
the
it, but you played.
Hurricanes
So
or
when
anything? What team were you on?
I was on my first competitive travel ball team was called the SoCal Heat, and then I went to the SoCal Bombers.
Bombers.
And then the Outlaws. SoCal Outlaws was my dad's team. So the Outlaws is when we were really starting to get really good, and then I finished with the Bombers.
Also, like when you came up, it was like you played Little League or you played Pony. So it's like
And we all played
if
Pony.
if you played Pony, you were like the you had big dick
You're a
energy.
fucking man,
And
yeah.
if you played Little League like I did, you were like a pussy or whatever.
Yeah, my dad didn't let me play Little League.
Yeah. So
that's just for the
Well,
birds.
so I played Little League, and then I played 2 years of Pony, and then I stopped. I don't know why I fucking stopped. It's fucking vague memory, but yeah, it's just
Pony ball is more real rules.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
you can
obviously
lead off.
Little League, there's no leading off. There's no drop third strike.
big barrels.
Skinny barrel bats. Like it was the dimensions are really short. Whereas Pony ball, you're gonna have to learn how to block a baseball as a catcher because there's drop third, there's leading off, there's stealing, there's like the bigger barrels. So like It was
I thought it was more of an age thing. Like they only had
No,
like once
it's-
you got to like say like fucking 8, you roll like they had pony leagues for 8-year-olds.
I'd be curious on the stats of like
my first.
the stats of like who makes it to the like further.
I guarantee you, it's pony.
Pony ball.
Yeah, is pony like nationwide though?
They have different names for it. Just how like we have CIF.
Yeah,
other
yeah.
places
Like
call
Pop
it,
Warner
state.
and shit.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So I think it's the same, but it just has a different. Like
Okay.
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth,
The
like
Babe
the
Ruth
league.
League?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the-
I think
the
that's
pony
a
league.
pony for the East Coast.
The East Coast. Gotcha.
Yeah, dude. But like, and also too, like I played pony ball, but my age, my birth date, for some reason I forget the rules, but like your birth date would dictate what level you played, and I was right in the middle where I could get away with playing up or down. And my dad always made me play up, so I was always 1 to 2 years younger than who I was playing with and against, and that made it
Fucking
a huge difference. We talk about that all the time. Always make your kid play up if you can, because it's like a challenge.
yeah,
Like,
you're not
gonna suck
sandbagging.
and
Fucking
like the 1 year where I had to play Mustang for 3 years, and that was where like we're pitching, and I should have been in Bronco, and we had to go. My mom and dad had to go to the league because they thought that I was going to hurt somebody, but they made me play down one more year.
yeah.
And dude, I was like throwing so hard past everybody and like hitting the ball
It's like
so much harder.
Pro coming down and playing with
High school
college or
ball.
high school ball.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you
but
don't
like
do that shit.
the pony ball is where you met all the guys, dude. Like me, Kevin Padlow, Tyler Wade, Brett Bewley, Justin Turner, all pro ball guys. We all played against each other in pony ball. That shit was competitive as fuck, dude. Me and Kevin were on the same team like 2 times, and we would dominate teams, bro. Teams would literally not show up when they were not very good because they did not want to get beat so bad. I
They
swear
just
to
knew
God,
it was already a loss and fucking just take it now.
we had JT McClellan. I don't know if you JT
yeah.
is like, he was one of the biggest kids for that age group, and he was on our team. Like, we were like the Yankees, dude. Like, just killing everybody. It was crazy, man.
Nobody
We
wanna
were
fuck
also
with
12,
you.
so let's take it easier.
Dude, we were.
I know you guys were.
we
Hey,
fierce
you guys
fucking
were
dudes.
raw.
12-year-olds. You kidding me?
Dude.
But dude, it wasn't like that. Like some of like the best baseball you've ever played. Like you think about playing All Stars, and you think about
Oh,
playing.
man.
You think about like all that stuff playing with your boys. You're like, God,
Dude,
man.
like
Even
the
to now,
All-Stars.
you think it's probably
Oh man, by far, like especially travel ball with your boys, because you got to experience the road trips and
Yeah.
the hotels and like the shenanigans that would go on with the boys. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget after All Stars, we'd go to this place in Chino called Backwoods Barbecue, and we would go right after the All Stars, and we'd go eat, and then all the dads would drink and talk while the kids would go outside, and we'd bring our wiffle balls and our bats. We just got done playing fucking 10 games in a weekend, and here we are outside playing wiffle ball. While the dads are bonding and the moms are talking shit, and like it was an every weekend thing. It was like, oh, what hotel we staying at? When we going? Hey, oh, I get to leave school early and go fucking play baseball. Like, that was the coolest. That was the best feeling. I was like, every time I'd be like, Thursday, my last day of school. Fuck you guys, have fun at school tomorrow. We get to go play fucking baseball. Like, dude,
just seeing all the different like I mean, if I bring up certain names like the Tomateros or like,
oh my god,
you remember like
the SoCal Red Wings,
the
dude.
SoCal Red Wings.
Bryce Harper
Bombers.
played on the Red Wings, dude.
really.
And he, dude,
What was the other one? There was like the Nitrous or
Nitro.
Nitro.
the Huntington Beach Nitro,
They were
the Oakley Stingrays.
in the USA, or there was like a no. I mean, there was teams that would just fly out like they're nationwide travel ball teams or whatever. And
So the team that did that out here was the SoCal Red Sox. Chandler Wagner, his dad, ran that team, and they ran into a little bit of money. So his dad would literally, at the age of 12, would fly out these men at the age of 12, where we would literally check birth certificates to win
I am
tournaments.
12.
yeah, they were
Great bench warmer shit.
They're just playing at like the Field of Dreams, like in
Dude.
Chino. Fuck.
That was the first time like you got to watch on TV all the underground dugouts, right? Because that was the big like the dugouts that went underneath.
Yeah.
Chino had them, and then also you watch the big league outfields in the grass, how it's like that thin and they could slide forever.
It's like on a tee box, dude. It's fucking
Exactly. That's what Chino had, and it was the coolest thing ever because you got to go play on like super nice grass and have those dugouts and the cool stadium backdrop and all that stuff. Dude, so much fun. So much fun. Dude, I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
You're into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
It's
First,
I was just hitting him up trying to. I want to start doing it. You fucking.
you totally should we just open back up, so
dude, first, how into it are you?
It's like almost like when you got the golf thing. Well, we like went on this whole COVID thing, so we like kind of had to stop. But like I was getting into it, like it's almost like you have the competitive drive of like, dude, you're not like hitting each other, so you're not getting like brain damage, but you're legit competing. Like, you know, people could like, some people are like, oh, it's gay or whatever,
Trying
but
to
it's
win.
like
No,
you're like
dude.
rolling around with other dudes, but it's like, dude, there's guys that are 120 pounds that are murk me. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
will murk me.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, you know, it sounds really weird, but like you just gotta like know like you can get manhandled by anybody. And like that is
think
like humbling.
Joe
So humbling.
Joe talks about it's like you're speaking a different language with the person you're rolling with. Like it's just this poetic movement and like I think the coolest thing, man, because like one of the reasons I love Rogan is because he's the UFC guy and he's got a bunch of UFC guys that come in and talk. And for me, I love that shit because it's another ultra competitive sport. The shape and the fitness that these guys go through amazes me. I love that shit. And then I would love to get into fighting. Like
Jiu-jitsu would be the where you're at. 'Cause don't get into like boxing. I mean, you can, but like
I'm not
you're
gonna-
getting hit, you're getting like that.
Yeah.
If you do like Muay Thai, like you're getting kicked, you're getting punched. It's like that's where it's like you really have to dedicate yourself and like don't take the risk of like getting hurt.
No, I'm not gonna do it now.
Unless you're a fighter and that's what you're going to be doing. Like, and that's where obviously if I want to be able to go fucking play baseball, you know, I'll go out and throw a ball and fucking take some swings. But I'm not going to be fucking doing batting practice and take it that serious to a point to where. Well, I'd probably do batting practice, but I mean something as far as like a mixed martial arts to where you're literally taking shots at the head. You know, that's a different level to where Muay Thai, like you were saying, like that's more physical to where I mean, not that jiu-jitsu isn't, but if you're doing it more so recreationally or say just for fun to get yourself into it, you're not trying to kill yourself, but it's still.
What's that workout like?
Yeah, how's it like to be?
When you actually like when I did my first. God.
Stop touching the fucking
Sorry.
mic.
I know. We'll set this up. We're gonna get new cables.
Hold on. Okay, I'm not touching it. Dude, when I first did my first tournament, the rounds were 4 minutes, and like you realize how quick you get gas. Like you got to train for it. And I cut 20 pounds to.
Jesus, dude.
I cut from 195 to 175, and you kind of doing that whole like cut was cool. Like it was like this shows like
Did you
what
put
fighters.
it all back on?
I put on like 10 pounds of it back on.
I heard like that the stuff that the fighter it's so bad for you. It is so bad for you, but it's almost that's their end goal though, is like that's where they know I just put in the work and fucking grinded and now I get to go do the game. And like I was listening to Justin Gaethje or Gaethje or whatever, and he was talking about how he took a fight 2 weeks notice where he thought he was out. So the day that he thought he was out, he went out and like had that diet where he went and just ate whatever the fuck. And then they called him the next day, hey, you want to fight in 2 weeks? And his coach was like, don't do it. And he was like, fuck
Let's
it.
do it.
Let's do it. But like it's that fitness part of it is what excites me too. And like being able to fucking have the technique to kick somebody's ass. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about at the very beginning of this podcast about how you are trying to keep yourself in baseball shape to where obviously you can get the call fucking tomorrow to be like, hey, dude, you're fucking playing. To where obviously you can't be just drinking beers, playing golf every single day to where you're not going to be ready to go. To where it's in a lifestyle sense, the fighting would be great to be able to. You never know when you need to be able to get in a scrap. Obviously, you don't want to, but you need to be able to say defend yourself. The same sense as
hold
a
on,
gun,
I need you to pull something up.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay,
Fucking.
type in Amir Garrett, AMIR IR space Garrett.
What? So there's no dead air, but like going back to
Yeah,
it,
you
type
keep
it in.
talking, I'm trying to-
But like, dude, it's one of those things that you can do. Like for you personally, like you could do and not get hurt because, like I haven't been hurt yet. But, like it's just like you just got to roll with the right people.
Type in Amir Garrett Pirates. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I looked it up the other day and it didn't pop up when I typed in his full name. Amir Garrett Pirates.
Me or Garrett.
Uh-oh.
We're fucking up.
Amir Garrett.
What am I doing?
Two T's. And then space Pirates.
You should come. You should come to like one class and like you can
Dude,
like
I would fucking
just don't even like go crazy. Like, dude, you're not gonna get hurt because it's like for the class, like what a class like is. It's like you warm up. You know, you do like these drills that we do, and then we learn technique, and then you drill the technique. And
see,
then
I would just love to learn the technique and just try it out and see. Okay, fight. Go to one that's short, dude.
Yeah, you should actually learn some boxing just in case you ever
Dude,
have
you
to
never
throw
know.
1, 2. Just
Right,
that
go over one. Go over one right there. Watch. I'll break this down for you.
When the coach, the coach's like, go get him.
Yep. Watch.
Yeah.
So watch him.
He's
He's telling him, he's like, dude, I'm over these fuckers. I'm gonna go get the rest. You need to get somebody hot. He like,
takes the ball from him and
He's
he
like,
goes-
he's like, okay, I got to get somebody. And then he takes the ball. He's like, go get him.
Yeah,
He's right there. He goes, go get him. Now watch this. He
Let's
takes
go.
on this whole entire fucking dugout.
Yeah.
No.
He just starts going, bro.
Yep.
Bah, bah,
Yep.
bah.
I loved it.
Oh, dude, I'm getting the chills watching this, dude.
That is something that like
And then that's the manager that just put without the hat on. That's the manager of the team going
Really?
after for right there. He just fell. David Bell just
What?
fell. Look at this, dude. Puig.
I want Puig on my team
This
if
is
I'm
what,
ever in a
last year?
scrap.
This was last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I think that's so sick. Just like that. Just okay. You know what? You want to handle this?
Yep.
Go do
Fucking
it.
listen,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, go
Dude,
handle it.
That's what I love about hockey. You know,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
fucking like, all right, you're gonna fight, fucking settle
Here,
it.
run that back.
Yeah,
again
run
real
that
quick.
back. I love it. Just
Oh, dude.
just the professionalism that goes. Okay, all right. You want to do this?
Yeah.
You sure? All right. Give me the ball. Go get him.
I talked to Amir in Vegas about it, dude. Like, just I wanted his input, dude.
Sometimes you got to settle that. Like that. Okay, we have
He's
a
like,
little.
dude,
We have a little beef.
They
Let's
kept
settle it.
chirping. They kept chirping. He's like, "Fuck these motherfuckers." He goes, "I'm tired of this. You need to get somebody. You got somebody hot? Nope. We got to get somebody."
Yeah.
You
He's
see,
like-
you see a lefty,
Dude.
the left fielder coming in.
Jesse
He's
Winker.
like, oh, we got to get
Go
ready.
get
We
him.
know
And
it.
he throws his glove down. He's
Oh,
like, "Let's
fuck.
go. Come on. Let's go."
That's
Who's
so.
up? Who wants it?
You know,
Oh.
the reason you get so hype is because you know you
I
can see
wanna
yourself
watch the
doing
coach
that.
run in, or the manager.
There's David Bell right there
Right
without
there.
the hat. Without, he's like, "Fuck you."
Oh, he's like, all right, get my guy, because that's your. I mean, the manager's job is to protect it.
Dude.
Oh,
And
And
they're
they're going down
huh?
on him, dude.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see that.
That is nuts.
Wow.
Bro, yeah, they're
Oh,
going.
shoot.
They got a player on him. Fucking.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Damn.
nuts, dude. And that's, dude. I mean, I played water polo growing up in high school, to where it's very similar to kind of hockey, to where like if there's a fight in the water, there's nothing really you can do until
Right.
like they're fucking.
If you want another cool one, Joe Kelly.
I mean, you saw how long it took me to fucking type.
Yeah.
it. If you don't mind, I mean,
Yeah. So Joe Kelly, just type in Joe Kelly Yankee fight or Joe Kelly Yankees.
Did you have any? I mean, has there been any fights in any of your
No.
baseball career at all, or no?
We've had bench clearings, and I'm always the first one off the step. Like, I swear to God, I'm always the first one. So the rule is, okay, if you have a bench clear and you leave the dugout, the league will fine you $50 for leaving the dugout.
Just leaving.
Yep. If you don't,
Oh, Antonio, hold on. You're changing this up too. Sorry, that's why you gotta fucking.
so if you leave the dugout, you get fined $50. If you stay in the dugout while your team is fighting and you don't go, your team that you play for fines you $100.
Wait, what?
Wait. Say that again.
So if there's something going on
Bench
in the
clearing
field,
$50.
if you leave your dugout, the league fines you $50.
Got you.
If you don't go out to go support your team, the team that you're playing for will charge you $100 for not going out. So you're going to lose money either way. So
Yeah.
we've been in a bunch of bench clearings. The only time that it really got physical was in Port St. Lucie. One of our Latins was throwing blows with another Latin, and I got the guy, the other Latin on the team, in a chokehold and pulled him off. Which one? Right there. Yeah. Oh my, dude, you got to sign in if you. Okay. So Joe Kelly, I went to my college, and I'm boys with Joe Kelly.
Antonio, can you make that bigger at all, or no? Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Dude, Joe Kelly's a Riverside boy. He's from here. And the coolest part is he hits him. He goes, "You want to?"
I was gonna say you might not want to put the audio on. Just to, I mean, we're not getting monetized. We're not fucking. I ain't fucking Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You know, Jamie, turn the.
Well,
we can't play this.
are you guys doing ads anytime
Yeah,
soon? or-
I mean, I talked to I not for like ad wise, but like Terramana Tequila. I posted on my story about them, and they're like, "Oh, that's sick." And then I was like, "Hey, like I know this is totally. I was with you, right? Or no, I forget who I was asking about, but I was like." I don't know. Like, obviously, like, I don't have any
Right.
numbers to be able to
Right.
support a sponsor or anything. But I was like, hey, like, if I were to have you on, like, just like put a bottle on, you know, is that okay? Like, I don't want to get in trouble or anything. Like, yeah, no, fucking do whatever you want, you know.
They responded to you?
Yeah, it was also on my Instagram story. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking sick.
So the coolest part about this is he hits him and he goes, all right, you want to go? Let's fucking go. Straight man versus man here.
I'm gonna get flagged by the MLB.
So he goes back inside, and then so he's like, he was told to hit him. There's some shit that went on. So now he knows that he's gonna get
allegedly
hit.
You just gotta wait it out. He's like, I know I'm gonna get hit.
He knows it's coming. There you go. So watch the catcher stay, and then he'll scoot in. Oh, sorry, hold on. Joe Kelly, it's my dog.
He gets fired up.
Oh, dude, I fucking love it.
Shout out Joe Kelly.
Yeah, and Joe Kelly, you're the man. Here we go. Come on, get his ass. Go inside. Yep. Here we go. Watch this. He goes. He goes. Come on. You want to go? Watch. You want to go? Come on. Here we go. Watch the slow motion of they'll zoom in on Joe. Yankees, Red Sox, baby. Come on. Where's the slow mo at?
God, how many fights do you think total have ever happened between Yankees, Red Sox?
Dude, I couldn't even. Fuck, they don't show it. You got to find where they zoom in on Joe.
Sorry.
Because it'll literally just be Joe, and you'll see him, like, hit him. He's like, all right, you want to go? And you'll literally go like this to him.
I think that's what they probably need for baseball. Rather than changing the ball or anything else, that's what they fuck the schedule. Let's
So
just
that
fucking
shit,
make it.
that shit happens, like, if you hit a home run, right? There's a whole discussion right now called "Let's Let the Kids Play." So all the position players want the hitters to be able to celebrate home runs. Okay, that's not the old school way. You hit your home run, you put your head down, and you run around the bases. You hit your home run, get your ass in the dugout, right? So if you show up a pitcher, he's gonna hit you. So like, there's stuff that happens, or like dirty slides, or if the other team throws at your guy, and it was kind of on purpose, right? Then your team or your manager will be like, hey, go get your team's back, go out there, and you're going to get him. So there's scheduled shit that goes on. Now, the guys will get hit, and they'll know they fucked up, and they won't do anything. But if the guy's a hothead and he gets hit, he'll come after you.
I can't find it.
Fuck
Well,
it.
what's your take on that? Do you think like this should? Like I don't.
Well,
It's like almost like celebrating a touchdown, right?
I mean, now
you
that's
equate it
allowed
to
in
that?
the NFL. I mean, they're allowed to celebrate now with
right,
fucking
but
dances and shit.
that's why baseball is baseball, man. It's like that old school shit. My thing is, the hitters get pissed if I strike you out and I go and I show emotion. They hate that. So why can you celebrate and pimp a home run and show me up?
Yeah, fucking
right?
bat flip or something.
I think that if you hit a home run in a certain moment that allows us a cool, like almost like a
walk-off or something,
a competitive response that is not like forced. If you're not hit a home run, like you could tell when somebody celebrates and it's like you're just doing it to be cool. That's where you got a problem. If it's competitive and you just hit a go-ahead 3-run home run with 2 outs in the top of the 9th, fuck yeah, do your thing. Because I know if I'm a closer and I punch your ass out in a big situation, I'm showing some emotion too. But if it's every time, if it's your third home run of the season and on a day game and on a Sunday and you're losing by 10 runs and you fucking showboat, we got problems. You know what I mean? I think it's all context, situational, like celebration, where I'll be like, you got my ass, you celebrate. It's all good.
Well, and that's where, I mean, for pro golfers, like, it's like some of them, they don't even know they get a hole in one, but like, yeah, I mean.
Like, did you see the Sung Jae In or whatever? I think 2 weeks ago, he hit a hole in one and just was like.
Yeah, he just all right.
But
like,
then he realized he did it. He was like, yeah, or whatever. But like the Tiger shit too, like, that's pure competitive adrenaline right there. Like, I'm fucking better than you, and I just worked my ass off to make that putt. I'm going to fist pump right in your fucking face.
Exactly.
But like when he beat Abraham Answer at the President's Cup, and he made that putt, and he kind of
took
his hat off a little too
he's
early. Not too early. I think it was.
Well, but he's still professional enough to be able to not be like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Right.
Like, he knew the situation and the circumstances. That's why. Like,
have you seen where they edited it to where
literally the second he hits the putt and takes the hat off and walks
Dude,
away?
that was a cool little weekend because. I mean, Abraham Answer was talking about how, I mean, he's a young gun. So he was watching Tiger grow up, And then he had the opportunity to go. He said, "I want Tiger Woods in this tournament, 1v1." And then Tiger responded, said,
All right.
"You're gonna get it. You're gonna get me."
As for the bull, you're gonna get the horns.
And then they go after it, and he loses. I think it was 3-2 match play, and that's got to be the coolest feeling in the world.
Yeah,
even though he lost.
Yeah,
like you just got to go against your guy that got you into golf, and the greatest golfer that we'll ever see in our time.
Yeah, and he, I mean, do you feel like you have somebody as far as baseball wise, you on that level? Like who would you want to pitch to?
I mean, it already happened.
Who is that?
Mike Trout.
You just pitch to Mike?
Yep. Yep. And I know Mike's still new in the game, but I mean, I think he made his debut still kind of way back when, and where I was still like in awe of big leaguers, and I never was on a big league scale or anything like that. And the fact that I was one batter away from facing Albert Pujols, and I think that might have even done it more to me than Trout, because Pujols was playing professional baseball when I was born. Right. So I faced Shohei Ohtani, Andrelton Simmons, their shortstop, Jason Castro, who was a 2-time All-Star with the Astros. I struck him out, struck out Ohtani, and then Trout, Anthony Rendon, who was almost the MVP of the World Series with the Nationals last year. So I think that was the first time that I'd faced consecutive amazing big leaguers on that type of scale. But besides those guys, I think it would have been a Derek Jeter, just because it's Mr. Baseball. Like, that's the face of respect in baseball and all that stuff. And it was cool enough because when I was with Miami and he bought the team, I got to meet him a bunch of times.
Really?
So that was pretty cool. But it's not anything like if I were to, like, even an A-Rod, if he was still playing, like, that would have been, for me, probably like the craziest thing. But I mean, I got to face Trout, and I can tell my kids if I never pitch in the big leagues again that Mike, the greatest baseball player, is 0 for 1. He didn't get a hit off me.
Yeah. You'd always hang your head on that.
Yeah. So it was pretty badass, man. I try not to talk about my accolades too much, and I know that's not much of an accolade. It was a spring training game, and I'm a minor leaguer. He was probably like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" But it still means something to me, and like I still have the. Dude, it wasn't a strikeout. He popped out to left field, but I still got the ball back.
Oh, did you really?
And I'll keep that ball forever, even though it was a fucking loud out. Like, I still got Mike Trout out, and I'll always, and it was on national television too. So like, I'll always fucking take that till I die.
Yeah, it's not something that, obviously, the money and all the signing bonuses, that's stuff that, like, it's
whatever,
man.
It's
good and all, but that's something that moment can never be taken away from you. I mean, obviously, you could sell that ball if shit comes
I would never,
to, but like,
never.
It's something that can never be really ever.
Like, dude, I'll never forget. Me and one of my best friends, AJ Sawyer. We're right before we committed to college. We were sitting in our buddy's pool, and we were having the talk. When I was a catcher, like, I wasn't anything yet. We weren't anything, and we were just sitting there like, bro, what do you think you would do if you had to hit off of Justin Verlander? Or, bro, what do you think you would do if he hit off you? Like, it was always just a talk,
the hypothetical, right? What if?
And then next thing you know, I'm 60 feet away in a competitive situation with my big league team and my manager, because I pitched in the first inning, so all the starters are still in the game.
Yeah.
And like when I came in the game, it was bases loaded, and it was Pujols on first, Ohtani on second, and David Fletcher on third base. Like, 3 unbelievable big leaguers watching me come into a game and work my craft against big leaguers, man. Like, it's a thing, dude. And it was, to this day, I'll never. My dad likes to talk about it, and he's always showing off a little bit, so I'll let him do that. But it was.
It's something that you'll always be able to flex on people. That, I mean, obviously not that you are trying to, but
right.
It's something that you can always hang your head high on. That how much you've worked your ass off, just like how you can, like, your dad, like, even though he's just working at Stater Bros or Ralph's or whatever they may be, he can always hang his head high on that. He's fucking worked his ass off and done the best that he can, and can show for, because look at the fucking product he's made by fucking what you've been able to do from that, and fucking keep pursuing and making it even better, and to where, I mean, you'll be able to hang your head high on, I mean, making it to the level you're at right now is such a milestone that the average person is never on any kind of spectrum would be able to experience, to where it's humbling in a sense, but it also is something we keep talking about, is motivating, and keep shows your passion and your drive to at least keep pursuing and wanting to get better and keep playing. And
I feel like it's cool too
coming
because Marietta is a small town. So I mean, I have a lot of support back here too, which is so cool because like when I came home and I would see people for the first time, like that was the first thing that they brought up, and like it felt fucking cool, man. It's almost like I know I'm nothing yet, but putting on for the city, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's always in the back of my head. Like nobody knows about Marietta, California. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. We got 5-6 big leaguers from Marietta. We got 5 guys and that are close to getting into the like. That's fucking cool for the city, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'll never be like, that's my city. This is what I'm doing. Like there's guys that have fucking pitched in the big leagues and played in the big leagues that are from here that still are trying to grind. I'm a nobody. But at the same time, it's still pretty fucking cool to say. So
yeah, well, and that's where I hope to be able to say the same. Say as far as like podcasting and comedy. Like obviously, you never know. Like I feel like comedy is the fact that I'm starting. I'm in year one. As far as like year one baseball, you wouldn't expect yourself to be ready to fucking be drafted or even be playing in college or high school ball, to where it's something that it's going to take time. I mean, I'm only on episode 5, right? This is going to be episode 5.
Nice.
And for me to be able to say I have such a high fucking professional athlete here, you know, it's crazy to be able to have that. And like, I mean, not that this is the end all be all, but it's able to,
oh, trust me, dude, like
keep pushing on. And
like I'll post about it everywhere and keep it posted and try to get you guys some traction and do what I can, because took 3 hours out of your day today.
Fuck, I mean, how long have we been here? Almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
So and dude, and that's where it's like you said earlier. We're just having a conversation, and just like how Rogan is. It's very.
And you look at Joe Rogan started, and you see that picture of him sitting in a fucking shed or whatever it was, like with shit computers and shit mics, like, and now he's signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Spotify and Apple Music. Like that's fucking. Yeah. You never know what can happen, bro. And as long as if it comes to the day where you never podcast again or you never talk at the Comedy Store or do whatever it is, like if you could say like you did everything you could have done, you can hang your head on that. It's the same thing for baseball. Like if I get released or something happens and I know that I did everything that I could have done, it'll be so much easier hanging my hat up than knowing like I could have done this. I should have done that. I wish I could, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I feel like, dude, you got the fucking dopest setup. Like now, who knows? You could be in a studio in fucking Studio City talking the shit with fucking Chris D'Elia on your show.
Well, maybe not.
Sorry. Rest in peace, Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, rest in peace his career. You never know. But
don't get canceled.
Yeah, no, I'm trying not to get canceled. I'm gonna stay out of young girls' DMs and whatnot for the time being.
Yeah. Dude,
I want to make a joke so bad, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, we're not gonna get canceled.
Bro, we gotta get Schaub and Brian Callen down here,
dude. The fact that hey, we'll do a pitching video and then we'll do a jiu-jitsu video. We'll fucking make some content and fucking.
Dude, I'm down.
We'll fucking Schaub he'll see us doing
Thick Boy Podcast Club,
Thick Boy Nation, fucking
Thick
biking
Boy
and
Bike
everything.
Club.
Thick Boy Bike Club.
But all right, dude. Well, fuck yeah. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey.
This is fucking. Might as well wrap it up here.
Yeah.
And thanks.
I'll say what everybody says on a podcast. Thanks for having me.
Hey, brother. Thanks for coming.
Oh yeah, COVID.
Social distancing. We're staying our 6 feet. Hey,
I'll dap you up.
Boom. Afterwards, off camera. Boom. Thanks, brother.
Twan.
All right, later.